Good evening. I'd like to call the regular City Council meeting of October 17th to order. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Mayor Thomas Masters.
President, trying to tie my pink tie for
Chairperson
breast
Tonya
cancer.
Davis Johnson.
Here.
Chair Pro Tem Lynn Hubbard.
Here.
Councilperson Kashamba Miller Anderson. Councilperson Julia Botel.
Here.
Councilperson Terrence Davis. City Manager Karen Hoskins.
Here.
City Clerk Claudine Anthony is present. City Attorney Andrew DeGraffenreich. Here. You may proceed.
I'd like to stand for a moment of silence, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance, led by Chair Pro Tem Hubbard.
May the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be acceptable in thy sight, O Lord, my strength and my redeemer. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America
And to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
My computer won't work.
Madam Manager, are there any additions, deletions, or substitutions?
Yes, Madam Chair. Under the consent agenda, item number 6A, in addition, resolution number 120-18, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Riviera Beach, Palm Beach County, Florida, approving special event application for the grand opening and ribbon cutting ceremony scheduled for Saturday, November 3rd, 2018 for the F. Malcolm Cunningham Senior Community Park and providing an effective date. Under awards and presentations, item number 9A, presentation by Steve White, educator, author, and mentor on the program From Black Boy to Black Man, What Does It Take? Item number 9B, presentation, Riviera Beach Workforce Development Task Force, added by Councilwoman Julia Botel. Item number under discussion and deliberation, item number 16, addition, the renaming of the right-of-way presently known as West 30th Street, spanning from Broadway to Avenue T as Reverend Griffin Davis Senior Street. Additional information is provided, and this additional information is provided by Chair Pro Tem Lynn L. Hubbard. That's all I have, Madam Chair.
Are there any other additions or deletions? I am going to delete. The proclamation for Mediation Week. It was read into the record at our last meeting, and I am just requesting off-site presentation of the proclamation.
Madam Chair, I have an addition.
Mr. Mayor, you're recognized.
If Councilwoman Lynn Hubbard would consider too, I would like to, because we've been talking about it for the longest, to put on the agenda, since we are renaming streets after great men of God and women in that particular area. I would like to add the naming of the street right behind Hilltop. What is that, 29th? Wherever street that is, that's right there in front of Pentecostal Church God in Christ, Reverend Bishop John D. Alexander, or John D. Alexander Street as well, because that's in the same area. I'd like for you to amend that or whatever.
If it's at all possible, I don't have a problem doing so. Okay, when we get to the motion?
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So there's been a request to amend item. What's your item number?
Where are we? Okay.
Under 16?
16. So that would have to be 16.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
He's asking you to amend your motion, not to add another item.
Wait, okay. All right, I will work the wording in.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Councilman. Appreciate that.
Okay.
And I know they would too.
disclosures by council?
No.
No.
Hearing none, a motion to adopt the agenda, please.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and properly second.
Councilperson Botel,
Yes.
Pro Tem Hubbard,
Yes.
Chair Davis Johnson.
Yes.
Unanimous vote.
Consent agenda. All matters listed under this item are considered to be routine and action will be taken by one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless a council person so requests, in which event the item will be removed from the general order of business and considered in its normal sequence on the agenda. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been motioned and properly second.
Madam Chair, we do not have any public comment cards for the consent agenda. The acceptance of public comment cards for the consent agenda is now closed. Councilperson Botel,
Yes.
Pro Tem Hubbard,
Yes.
Chair Davis Johnson.
Yes.
Unanimous vote.
Any person who would like to speak on an agenda item, please fill out a public comment card and give it to staff prior to the item being presented to council for discussion. Members of the public will be given 3 minutes to speak on each regular agenda item. In no event will anyone be allowed to submit a comment card and speak on an agenda item after the resolution is read or item considered. Public comments shall begin at 7:30 p.m. unless there is no further business of the City Council, which in that event, it shall begin sooner. In addition, if an item is being considered at 7:30 p.m., then comments from the public shall begin immediately after the item has been concluded. Any person who would like to speak during public comments, please fill out a public comment card located on the table directly outside of the council chambers and give it to the staff before the public comment section is announced. Madam Clerk, petitions and communications for filing,
None.
awards and presentations.
Item number 7, presentation by Palm Beach County School District Representative regarding the property tax referendum on this year's ballot.
I would like to welcome Mr. Eric Lundman and Maria Bishop, asking you to come to the podium and present the information on behalf of the Palm Beach County School Board. Welcome.
You have a presentation?
Good evening, everybody. We thank
Good
you so
evening.
much for this opportunity to come here and speak before you. My name is Maria Bishop, Instructional Superintendent.
Hi, good evening, Mayor, City Council members.
Good
I'm
evening.
Eric Lundman, Instructional Superintendent for the North Region, which includes the middle schools that serve this community. We have a brief presentation to share with you and our community members on the proposed referendum to increase the millage to support public schools. You will not hear us advocate how to vote. Our job is to educate, and that's what we're here to do, is just to educate. The video will take just 2 minutes, and we're free to answer any questions and address any issues that come up from the video. So here we go.
Strong schools, strong communities.
On Election Day, November 6th, there will be a question on the ballot impacting the future of Palm Beach County Public Schools. The school district's referendum is designed to strengthen school security, increase teacher pay, and continue funding arts and career programs through a 1 mil levy on assessed property values. This 2018 referendum would replace a $0.25 mil levy that Palm Beach County voters have approved for the past 8 years.
The new referendum requests funding to boost school security by hiring more school police officers, purchase state-of-the-art safety equipment, and provide more mental health professionals in schools.
This measure also supports 650 arts, music, PE, choice, and career teachers who prepare today's students for tomorrow's jobs. Your tax dollars would also help retain our most experienced teachers by providing a financial incentive based on the years they've dedicated to the district. Research consistently shows that a quality teacher has more impact on student achievement than any other aspect of schooling. If approved, homeowners can expect to pay $1 for every $1,000 of assessed value for their home. For example, a home with a taxable value of $200,000 will cost an additional $12.50 a month. The levy would raise approximately $200 million for schools each year. Every dollar collected and spent will continue to be monitored by an independent oversight committee of local residents, assuring that your money is spent for its precise designated purpose. The levy would automatically expire in 4 years and cannot be renewed without voter approval.
Strong schools, strong communities. For more information about the school district's referendum, please visit strongschoolspbc.com.
Just to address a few frequently asked questions that we have on this referendum request by our school board, one question that comes up in our community meetings is about the half-penny sales tax the school district was awarded during the last request from the voters, and we want to first thank the voters for giving us those funds. Those funds are used to generate capital projects, building of schools, replacing of school equipment, replacing air conditioning units, painting schools. And that's the designee of those funds. We cannot use those in any other area except for capital-based projects. Another question that does come up from a lot of community members when we do these presentations is, what about the Florida Lottery? Well, Florida Lottery, the bulk of those funds goes to Bright Future scholarships to support our exiting seniors as they enter college. And we're thankful for that. I'm a parent, and I have 2 kids that entered college, and I'm very thankful for the Bright Futures program that we have in the state of Florida. The money we get from Bright Future, from the Florida Lottery, would run our school district for approximately 2 days. And so we have other needs, as the video said, for school safety, school counselors, paying our teachers. This is the request we are making of voters to consider on November 6th, and if you're voting early, just consider it earlier, to consider voting on this referendum. And just to educate all voters who are out here, it is the last issue on the ballot. We can't encourage you how to vote, but you might want to start at the end and work your way back. That's our recommendation. But we're here to answer any questions that the council has.
Are there any questions from the council?
Just a comment, Madam Chair.
Councilwoman Botel, you recognize?
Thank you. I may not be able to tell you how to vote, but I can tell you how I voted yes, because what we need in schools certainly is more funding for arts and career programs. Clearly, in light of what's happened at Parkland, we need more security in our schools, but the mental health and arts and career programs are essential for our kids, and so I'm an absolute yes, and I already voted.
Well, we appreciate that.
Madam Chair.
Mr. Mayor, you recognize?
Thank you very much. I, too, have voted yes. In addition to the mental health piece and the arts and craft, it's important for me, the security part of this bill. I received a email from our lobbyists in Washington, our congressional lobbyists, and finally it appears that we're going to get some national legislation after the hearings that metal detectors won't be an option, but it will become a necessity. I've been advocating for metal detectors in the schools because it is still the only safety device that will detect someone that brings a gun, a knife, or anything with metal. Just as you walked here in the City Hall tonight, you went through a metal detector. And if you, God forbid, if you had a weapon, it would have been detected. I want to continue to press Palm Beach County to come up to the standards that's seen across this country, whether it's Cleveland, whether it's Washington, whether it's New York, whether it's Los Angeles, the list goes on. And I hope that in this bill somehow that we will take a more serious look at placing metal detectors in the public schools, particularly if the principal is requesting that money will be used. We already have one that has been placed recently, but we hope to have them in every school. Not to be repetitive or redundant, please note that's the only thing that will stop a weapon from walking into the campus. Thank you, sir.
Thank you for your vote.
Thank you.
Madam Chair.
Chair Pro Tem, you recognize?
We appreciate and thank you for coming out to discuss this amendment with us on the ballot. While we all support the initiative for safety and mental health to be readily available to all of our students, one thing we would like is to advocate for the retention of these teachers by paying decent salaries, because none of us become anything without teachers, but yet they're one of the lowest paid persons
In the country.
in the country. In any municipality, you'll find that. And I think that we need to take a serious look at paying teachers a decent wage so that we can retain teachers that want to stay in the classroom and work with our kids. So when we accumulate these funds and this money, I think we should take a serious look at that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I echo the sentiments of my colleagues, and I understand the value of mental health and a fair and equitable wage that is so critical to our educators, but more importantly, just across the board. So we thank you so much. We will be sure to convey our sentiments of a job well done to the superintendent and also to Dr. Robinson for you being here and presenting this information. So thank you so much, and if you have nothing further, we thank you.
No, thank you for your time.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
it.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, if we're ready to proceed.
We are.
Item number 8, recognition of teams that competed during the summer representing Riviera Beach.
Morning, Mayor, Council, Richard Blankenship, Parks and Recreation Director.
Good evening.
We'd like to take this opportunity to recognize the successes over the summer. Sometimes if you don't toot your own horn, it won't get tooted at all. So we'd like to take this opportunity to present to you some of our recent successes. We're going to start out with the Riviera Beach Lady Chargers 8th grade basketball team. Now keep in mind, this is very important. All of these folks that you'll see tonight represented Riviera Beach in Palm Beach County, Broward County, counties all throughout Florida, throughout the Southeast, and some even further than that. So at this time, I'd like to ask Coach Tanya and her team to stand. And Coach Tanya, if you'd like to say something to council, I appreciate it.
Give us just a moment. These are some amazing young ladies. These young ladies have to maintain what's the GPA in order to play on Riviera Beach Ladies Charge? 3.0, which is a B average and above. We have we have 2 players that attend Suncoast for their 9th grade year. We have one that's in Palm Beach Garden Nursing program. They're amazing. We have different ages. As you can see, some of those girls are in the 5th. We had one player that was in the 5th. We had one that was in 2, 3, 4 in the 5th. They was big sister to those young ladies. We have 6th graders, 7th graders. I didn't discriminate on the ages. As in grade-wise, you couldn't be, of course, higher than the 8th grade, but due to coaching, volunteering, I just thank Mr. Blankenship for believing in us another year and giving us another opportunity to represent this city in a positive way. I think the city councilman and each and every one of y'all play a part of this, because these young ladies needed y'all support, and it's just amazing just to give back. They're not asking for anything. All they want to be showered with is love and cheers. And we just can't thank y'all enough for giving us the opportunity to travel to Tennessee, placing within the 10 out of 100 and something teams. We are also, we made the headline for nationals. We beat out a lot of teams for a 2nd-year program. The best have yet to come. And it started once again, it starts in parts. It really does. And we just again, thank y'all for giving us this platform to display positivity. Each one, like I say, each one of these young ladies have to maintain a 3.0, and they are reminded that they are students before what?
Absolutely.
Wow.
Absolutely.
Again, thank you guys.
Madam Chair, can we take a picture with them?
Well, one of the ladies wanted to,
Supporting.
explain what this program meant to them. As I say, these women, these young ladies, soon one day will be women. I'm gonna explain what this program, when no other program believed in them or gave them an opportunity and told them that their skills wasn't good enough,
Wow,
we believed in them.
you did it.
Hello.
Captain.
The Lady Chargers gave me an opportunity to help and develop my basketball skills. And I thank the city of Riviera Beach for believing in us and allowing us to use the gym. And we are very thankful for everything that you all have done for us. And we hope that you continue to bless our presence. Thank you.
There are a couple, so we'll do it. Thank you. Could you just stick around afterwards? Not right now. Just stick around before we complete this session so that we can take a photo.
And young lady, your grammar was excellent. Appreciate it that you have done. Thank you.
Next is, some programs we manage, and some programs we collaborate and partner with. And this was an exciting collaboration for us this year. The Riviera Beach Heat Wave women's semi-pro basketball team. Coach Claudine Gooden. Again, Wells was their home. They practiced there. They played their games there, and they ended up they won the. Well, I'll let you tell her let her tell you what she won or what they won. But they did very good for a young program. And Coach.
Good evening. I first would like to thank the City of Riviera Beach to allow us to participate our sport in this city. It was very exciting and a little scary, only because starting a women's team is very hard. Women are the backbone of our families, and to ask them to dedicate time to pursue their dreams is, I don't get to win that war too many times, but I was fortunate for this year because I had a wonderful group of women that came together and made it work. And we started off with 1, and then 2, and then 4 in the gym, and lo and behold, we made it all the way up to 15 players. When one couldn't make it, another one did, and everyone was very supportive. I was so proud that a lot of our local legends came out and remained on the team. What we did win was the Women's Blue Chip Basketball Championship for the state of Florida, for the southern region. That was a big accomplishment. I'd like to back my words up. I said I will bring this city a championship for showing us love, and I'm so appreciative that we did it on our first year, first try, first team. Wow. And
fabulous.
It was special to me because I'm not a native of Florida. However, when I first came to Florida, my mom decided to move here. I'm Canadian, and my mom decided, hey, we're going to go to Florida and live. And I'm like, wow, cool. The first place they told me that if I wanted some good competition, you need to head down to Tate's Gym or Wells Gym. So that's where I headed down to. And I received some good competition, and it remained so because we became champions from there. I do want to give special mentions to the ladies on my team. Get this up. We have Kisa Duncan. She's from West Palm. She attended Barry University. Shakoya Monroe. She's from Riviera Beach. She attended Tennessee Temple University. Megan Whitaker. She's from Cummings, Georgia. Decided to make Palm Beach her home and she attended Loyola University. We have Sean Barnes from West Palm Beach, and she attended Tulane University. We have Katie Pekelski. I probably messed her name up, but I'm sorry, Katie. She's from New Jersey. She decided to stay down in Florida, purchase a home in Riviera Beach. She is now a resident of Riviera Beach. Sharnika McCarty, huge, she has a great fan base here, in the state of Florida itself. She went to Lynn University. She's from West Palm. You could find her at the gym. You could find her at the local gyms in this area working out, hardworking young lady. We have Rose Ambrose. She came all the way from Pompano Beach every practice to make her dream come true. She attended Alcorn University. We have Elizabeth Hutchings, Coach Liz, as everybody knows her as. She attended Tallahassee Community College from here, Riviera Beach. We have Tamia Williams, everybody knows her as T. She's probably the first player that made it because she was on a WNBA roster, and she is a local living legend as it stands, and she went to University of Florida from West Palm Beach. We have Katherine Johnson. She went to Warner Southern University. She lives in Jupiter, teaches in Palm Beach County. And we have Deneen Bell. She went to Florida Southern College from West Palm Beach. And I have two more ladies, and forgive me, but I'm nervous and I didn't put it on here. But I want to say thank you, City Council members. Thank you, Mayor Masters.
You're welcome.
Very big thank you to Dr. Blankenship, Mr. Blankenship. I'm trying to raise you up. I'll take you, doctor.
He's on his way.
You
He'll
doctored
get
this up. I'll tell you that
He'll
much.
get there one day.
I'll give that to you. You allowed women's sports to be recognized nationally. In Riviera Beach, and a lot of people would say, where's Riviera Beach? I don't have to say that now that we're champions, so I am so happy for that. A lot of teams are choosing to come down and play us and hang out in the city, so I'm hoping to make some further connections to keep that going. And in terms of men's basketball, I have been approached, including your mayor, to put on a men's basketball team. That is in the works. We had a lot of support from the gentlemen of this area, and I hope to fulfill their dreams as well. So thank you.
Thank
Welcome.
you.
They're not here. They're working women. I said I had to start practice at 7:30 in order for them to get their households in check. I was hoping to see if it was a little later, but you know what?
It's okay.
I will make sure when the fitness fest, we're all planning to be there and to enjoy our time with everybody because it was a hard schedule. We were on the road a lot, and we just try to make it work. And I really would like to say special thanks to Terrence Davis. When we found out that we were going on to the national championships, which occurred in North Carolina, without hesitation, without questions, he said, let me see what we have that we can help and assist you to get you on your way. And he did so in such a quick turnaround, and it was such a blessing. And I thank every single chairperson for allowing us to be able to do what we love to do, because sports, women, going on into the professional realm, as we can see, it's not as strong as the men's programs and professional teams. However, we're still pushing through. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, the Riviera Beach track team. Coach Erica Whipple Figures and some of her assistant coaches and players are here. This is the second year that we've propagated this program, and you know, if track and field belongs anywhere, it belongs in Riviera Beach. Last year they went to Detroit for the Nationals, and this year they went to Iowa. So they've been representing very well all over the country. Coach?
Wonderful.
Hello, good evening.
Hi, how are you?
I'm Erica, and like Richard said, this is our second year, and we just want to thank you guys for all the support that you've given these kids. They've done so well in just the 2 years that they've been competing. Just this past season, we had 3 regional champions and 2 runners-up and a third-place finisher from just 1 year. They went from barely making it to regionals to winning regionals, and had the opportunity to go to nationals this year and place in the top 20 in the country. So we are so proud of them and all of their hard work that they've done. And this wouldn't be possible without you, so we definitely thank you for all the support, because without you guys, they wouldn't be able to have this opportunity. And thank you to Richard, because he believed in us. And I ran track in Riviera Beach. I went to Suncoast and Palm Beach Lakes. And this is my daughter. She's a runner and a long jumper. She want to say something?
I just want to say thank you to Riviera Beach for giving us this wonderful opportunity to run track and express ourselves on the track and give it everything we have.
Absolutely.
Wow. You look just like your mama. Just like her.
Ariana. She's a long jumper, and she runs the 100. And they also have a 4x1. She plays second in a long jump. Second in a long jump at regionals, which we compete in the hardest regional down south in Miami. So very proud of these kids.
Absolutely.
You're welcome.
Now, what Erica didn't tell you is that through her efforts in track, she won a full ride scholarship to the University of South Carolina and got her education. And she came back to Riviera Beach and is giving back in a great way. Next, the Palm Beach Makos minor league football team. Now, I don't know what their won and loss record is. I really don't care. I think they are the model organization for giving back to the community. Every time we reach out to Coach Ray and Rev to come help, give out turkeys, they give out free lunches, whatever we need them to do, they step up to the plate. So it's a prime example that winning's not everything, and they may be winners. I really don't know what their won-loss record is. I just know they are a model organization that give back to the community, and I'd like to recognize the Palm Beach Makos that they call Wells their home for practice and Callaway for games. So Rev, Ray.
Good afternoon, Mayor.
Good afternoon,
sir. Members. Thank you all for allowing us to come here. I'm Reverend Gary Wilder. I am the team owner of the Palm Beach Makos. I'm not a resident of Riviera Beach, or am I actually from Florida? I'm from North Carolina. Just kind of transplant here by way of the Marine Corps. I spent 23 years active duty Marine Corps, retired, Desert Storm veteran, and got an opportunity to come up here and to be a part of the community. And when this happened, I jumped right on it, because this was an opportunity that I could continue to give back to the community and to assist these young men who need guidance. Some of them need guidance in their lives. And we try to be an example for that. And my general manager, Ray Gordon, he's also the commissioner of our league, the Florida Football Alliance, and he's also an employee of Lockheed Martin. And we try to do our best to help the community in helping these young men. We have about 70% of our roster are young men from the Riviera Beach area. And we try to help them to steer away from doing things on the street that they shouldn't do. Because one of the things that we find out is that these young men tend to want to do things that they don't want to do if they don't have something to do. So what we do is we try to help them and guide them into coming into sports, and then we mentor them into helping being model citizens for the community. Some of the things that we've done, as Mr. Blankenship talked about, we give away turkeys. Over the last 3 years, we've given away over about 1,000 turkeys from our organization. We've also given away close to about 2,500 toys during our Toys for Tot game, over 600-700 lunches for our bag lunch giveaway. We go to the community and help out with the schools. We give away backpacks. In fact, we assisted the county or the city this year. We're giving away backpacks, and we've done that as well. So we do a lot. And we help the young men to come out to help us and to do that. And what they do is find out that, you know what, it's more than just football. And one of the slogans that we use, we may be a football organization, but community is who we are.
Yes.
So that's what we try to do to do that. And we really appreciate the city in sponsoring us by coming out and being able to help us with our practices and for playing there over at Tate. We also played over at Inlet Grove for a while over there also. And Mayor, you came out to some of our games before as well. We really appreciate that.
Thank you.
We are a winning organization. I know that. This year wasn't the best year. However, we've went to the conference championship. We've won 2 division championships as well. And we've had several players that have went on to play minor league or play up in the Canadian League. We've had 3 go to the Canadian League.
Wow.
We've had 3 go to the Arena League. And we have a couple of them that have now went on and started playing their college ball as well. So we do help these young men to get back into school or to try to get into the profession that they do. So we really want to appreciate what the city is doing. We want to appreciate what you all are doing for us. We look to get some of these sponsorships that's going out as well, so we'd appreciate that also. But we just want to thank Mr. Blankenship. He has been really supportive of us in everything that we've done. And we continue to be a force here for the community also. So we just continue to thank you, and we just really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Madam Chair,
Mr. Mayor, you recognize?
I just have one question. Y'all gonna give away 1,000 turkeys again this year?
We didn't do it all at one time. But
Folk call me every day about turkeys, so I want to know.
It was over the course of a few years.
Okay.
But we're looking to give away more this year.
Well, just call me and let me know, and I will refer some of them to you.
All right. You want to be first to get a turkey or give one?
To get one.
I
No,
tell you
to
what,
give one away.
We look forward to coming to your place to have dinner as well.
Okay, great. No problem.
Turkey, you know. So
No problem. No, really, I'm just kidding. We do want to know that there are agencies and people, organizations that will be giving away turkeys, and we're glad to know that you're one of them.
All right.
Thank you.
And I also just want to introduce some of my players that are here. Trayvon McDonald, Anthony Raglovich, and Terry Taylor. You know, like I said, they've been committed to this organization. They've been committed to doing a lot. And I'm going to tell you, Ray Gordon is just he's the backbone of the team. Good. And I tell you, he's been really instrumental in assisting up here. Myself, personally, I live in Broward, but I come up here to make things happen.
Okay. Wonderful. God bless you.
You may recognize the gentleman in red, Terry Taylor, as he's a longtime Parks employee.
Absolutely.
And last but not least, the Riviera Beach Chargers boys 7th grade basketball team, who are the 2018 state and 2018 national champions, U.S. amateur basketball. I don't, Coach Z, okay.
You want to have one minute.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening. I want to start off by saying thank you. Thank you to the city council members. Thank you to all players, all of them not here. Unfortunately, some of them in football and doing other things right now. I want to say thank you. My wife, she's not here. She's been a big big help. Without her, none of this would be possible. I want to say thank you. My assistant coach, he's not here as well, Mr. Ray Jackson. Mr. Blankenship, oh man, thank you. I really appreciate it. Everything, man, everything. I really appreciate it. I put a lot of hard work in with these boys. For us to be here right now is an honor. Last year, we came up here and we had nothing to give you, you know, as far as our achievements. This year, my second year was our second year now. We had a chance to win a total of 10 championships. 10, most of them, the championships is not here.
Awesome.
We were the only team at nationals to win state and national.
Oh, wow.
also got a chance to meet LeBron James. Well, we got a chance to play against his son. It's a good opportunity. I want to thank you. Really appreciate it being a part of this organization. Thank you again, Mr. Blankenship. The ones I have here now, I just want to name them. Wilson Merritt, Joshua Faison, my son, Zephaniah Thomas, Jordan Price. Thank you. Thank you all. Appreciate it. I really do.
Even your son.
I just want to say, doing this here, it's not just all about basketball. We also try to implement life skills with the boys, try to keep them off the streets and teach them, guide them the right way as well. So, I'm really looking forward to this year as well. Continue to do it with all the kids in the neighborhood. So I just want to say thank you. Thank you. Continue to say thank you. And again, Mr. Blankenship, thank you again, man, for giving me this opportunity.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, and Madam Chair, Councilwoman Miller Anderson and Councilperson T.D. Davis wanted to congratulate all the teams. So they made sure that I let the teams know that they want to congratulate them. And sorry they couldn't be here.
So noted.
I'm sorry, I didn't even show you guys our championship rings. We got one for state and nationals. I just wanted to show you guys.
Awesome. We are going to take just a brief recess so that we can take photographs with the teams and their coaches, and then we will resume our meeting. But before we do that, I would like to say, Mr. Blankenship, you are certainly a tremendous asset to the city of Riviera Beach. All that you have done. All that you have done.
I appreciate that, but I have to also say
your staff.
Thanks to Mr. Payne
I understand.
And his staff
I understand.
for juggling all these schedules.
And we appreciate the staff of the Parks and Recreations Department, but we want to say to you, your leadership in guiding that department has resulted in this success. So thank you on behalf of the board. 5-minute recess for photos.
And then we're in the playoff season with football and cheerleading. I think we have 4 football teams left in the playoffs. Our cheerleaders won last Sunday, so they're moving on to Orlando. So we'll be back up here shortly with more.
This is what success looks like.
Come on.
All righty. So can we get We will now resume the meetings. We will now resume our meeting. If you could please take your seats. Madam Clerk, item number 9 has been deleted with a request for off-site presentation of that proclamation. We are now at 9A.
Item number 9A, presentation by Steve White, educator, author, and mentor on the program From Black Boy to Black Man, What Does It Take?
I had an introduction to read, but Steve is already up. Okay. Okay. Good evening.
Good evening.
After a rash of violence that has taken place in our community, some allegedly at the hands of our youth, I decided that I could no longer allow people to paralyze me when I know that there are positive steps that we can take as a community to save the lives of our young people. I'm convinced that it's incumbent upon us as leaders and residents to work toward the improvement of our own lives. We cannot allow our desire to improve the quality of life for people in our community to go unanswered. I can see why the system would be upset about our youth receiving assistance in passing standardized tests. I can see why the system would be upset with our youth exploring different opportunities. We saw what our youth can achieve with instruction and assistance and mentoring a few minutes ago. If we understand why persons are upset with us for offering assistance in the lives of the people in our community, all we have to do is follow the money. We have had this rash of violence, again, allegedly at the hands of our youth. If we look at how things are decided, some things as simple as the third grade reading levels of our children are honestly being used to determine how many prisons are built. Prisons are now being privatized. Therefore, in order for these private corporations to make money, they must keep as many bodies in the prison system as possible. Prison is big business. It's simple if you look at it. If you have a child that can't read or pass their standardized tests, then he can't get a high school diploma. Then he can't get a good job. Chances are he's now on the path to prison. The prisoners are being leased to provide public work services, especially by the state. When this starts to happen more in our local communities, it will then start to hit home. For Cunningham Park, the opening which we'll have on November 3rd, the contractor for the fence is waiting to receive it from a prison that was hit due to the storm. This is legalized leasing of human beings. Yes, I can understand their rationale for not wanting our youth to receive assistance, but what is incomprehensible is why any of us would fight against our youth receiving assistance. Mr. Steve White will present to you a program that has been working throughout South Florida that he has used to get through to our young people. He's an educator, a mentor, an author. He's the recipient of the Chairman's Award of 2014 for mentoring leadership from 100 Black Men of America. In 2018, Top Black Educators of South Florida. I present to you Mr. Steve White.
Thank you, Ms. Hubbard. Good evening. I am Steve White, and I'm here to talk to you about the mentoring program that we're going to offer to young men here in the city of Riviera Beach, the city in which I was born and raised and proud to be a resident of as well. This program I started, I was inspired to develop this program 25 years ago. And so as we're concluding our 25th year, I'm really honored that we're doing it here in the city of Riviera Beach. This is a program that Mayor Masters' grandson was a graduate of many, many years ago. So like I said, we have a 25-year track record of, pardon me? All right, well, we'll talk about that. But we have a 25-year track record of helping young men or preparing young men to successfully make the transition to what we like to call true manhood. The theme of our program is that the key to manhood is to unlock the mind, because we firmly believe that if you want to change behavior, you have to change the mindset. So we operate from that premise. What we do, this is a program that I created the curriculum for, and one of the reasons why this program has been successful over the years is because the curriculum is tailored for the young men that we're going to work with. Some of the things that we address in this program, first and foremost, we start out with helping them understand the importance of self-esteem and self-respect. It's also very important that these young men are introduced to their history, so we do a session on African and African-American history. We also work with them on how to be successful in school, also their attitude towards school, but also giving them practical tips for how to be successful in the classroom as well. In addition to that, we're going to address their critical thinking skills, which is going to include conflict resolution, helping them to redefine their values and their priorities, and just simply how to make good decisions. Another area that we address, of course, we know that a lot of our young people are heavily influenced by the messages that they get from the media, from the music, the television, the movies, etc. So we address that. We understand that these young men are not going to be shielded from these images or from these messages, but we help them understand how to analyze them and how to counteract some of the negative messages and images that they receive. Also, we will address their health and nutrition. And then we also, lastly, what we do is we help them to develop a plan for success. We operate from the premise that all of these young men have unique gifts and talents, but they have to understand how to identify those gifts and talents, and then also how to develop a plan for success. So we actually teach them that you cannot just simply wish things into existence. You have to have a concrete plan or a roadmap as to how you're going to get there. I'm really thankful that Ms. Hubbard has the vision to want to do this. I'm really thankful for the support that we have received from the police department, Sergeant Menard, who's one of the community police officers. I believe, I don't know if he's here in the audience, but he is going to be very instrumental in this program. He's going to be very much a part of this program as well. And we're going to engage other men in the community to be a part of this program also. We're going to introduce these young men to different career opportunities by bringing in guest speakers who will talk to them about the work that they do, whether it's blue collar or white collar. Also, some of you know that I'm also involved in prison reentry. So I have young men who have been incarcerated, who are now serving as positive role models and who are mentors themselves, who will come back and talk to these young men about some of the things that can happen when you make bad decisions. So I've really been proud of some of the young men that I've had an opportunity to work with who were once behind the prison wall, but now that they are successful men and they're giving back to their community. The program is going to start on October the 20th, this Saturday. We always start out with a parent orientation where we invite the parents as well as their boys to come to the orientation session so that we can introduce them to the program. That's going to start this Saturday, October the 20th at Lindsay Davis Community Center. That starts at 10 a.m. And then we will actually start the classes on October the 27th, and those classes will start October the 27th, which is a Saturday also. That's going to start at 9 a.m. So we limit the class size to 15 young men. So we really want everyone who is interested to sign up now so that we can have that class size met. I did leave some applications or registration forms on the table out front. So if anyone is interested, they can take one of those registration forms. Also, all of my contact information is there. And of course, you can also contact Councilwoman Hubbard as well. But we are really looking forward to this. We have to be proactive. And like I said, during prison reentry, I get an opportunity to work with a lot of young men who, if someone had intervened in their lives on the front end, they would not have wound up in the prison system. And that's whether it's adult prison or juvenile prison. So the opportunity to work with a lot of our young men on the front end and give them the type of guidance that they need is very important. Lastly, I'd like to say that we invite men in the community who would like to be a part of this program, who would like to be mentors as well. We invite men in the community to come and be a part of this also. So I think I've pretty much summarized what this program is all about. I'd be happy to answer any questions that anyone on the dais may have.
Madam Chair.
Mr. Mayor, you're recognized.
Yes, I would like to compliment Councilwoman Lynn Hubbard for sponsoring this program to save our sons, and I don't think anyone can doubt that Lynn Hubbard loves this community and has always looked for ways to promote the community, whether it's saving our sons, parks, or whatever, and others. And I just want to say, job well done, Councilwoman Hubbard, for sponsoring this.
Thank you, thank you.
And I also want to add, is there a registration fee that's associated with young men to get into the 15?
No, sir. No, sir. The parent or the young man themselves just simply need to complete the registration form. There is no fee.
Is there any money associated with it? I want to give you some money. That's what I'm asking.
Well,
he can sponsor the lunches. That would be great.
Okay,
we
so
have
Ms.
not
Hubbard
taken
just
care of the
answered it.
lunches.
Ms. Hubbard has identified some funds, and one of the things that we do want to do, since we have the young men there as a captive audience from 9 until 1 on Saturdays, it's been my practice in the past to provide lunch as well as some type of a breakfast meal. So you've just been nominated to...
Well, I don't let Ms. Hubbard tell me what to do. No, I'm just kidding. But Debbie, if we can find $500 in our promotion, this is something that I want to do. Whatever Ms. Hubbard says, whatever way it should be used, that's what we'll do for the luncheon. But I do want to support it financially for several reasons. But you did an amazing job with my grandson.
Thank you, sir.
And I want to give back. So 500, Debbie? Okay, thank you. Dr. Botel, I think, wants to give 500 too. Look at it.
I like the way you give away my money.
Look at it.
Madam
Look at
Chair, I am anxious to join you.
Councilwoman, you are recognized.
Thank you. I am anxious to join the mayor in commending my colleague, Councilwoman Hubbard. I think this is an outstanding program. As a longtime educator, I can tell you that there's nothing as important as having a good mentor for kids, especially kids who are in need, and certainly our kids are in need, and having a mentor is extremely important. So I commend Councilwoman Hubbard for starting this program. I wish it the best success, and I'll try to find some money.
Thank you very much.
Well, certainly I understand the value of mentorship, and I appreciate the work that you've done. I will identify $500 in the budget to help to support this program because it is extremely important. I am concerned with the state of our youth, and so therefore we are looking to identify initiatives, programs, and opportunities to rein in some of the behavior that we have seen. So, Chair Pro Tem, you are to be commended. We look forward to the program.
Okay, well, thank you again. I'm very excited about it. And like I said, we do have a track record of success, so we're looking forward to working with the young men. We really want to encourage the parents who are listening to take advantage of this opportunity and get their sons enrolled. So again, thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. White. Thank you, and thank you, my colleagues, for joining in. Madam Chairwoman, Madam Manager, do we need the contingency? Do we need to vote for those funds?
Madam Chair, I believe Councilwoman Hubbard, the funding source for this event, she wanted to use the educational dollars that was approved in the budget, and each council person would receive $5,000 for specific educational purposes. So if you would make a motion to transfer $5,000 out of the general fund contingency account for this purpose.
I'm happy to make that motion.
Second.
It's been motioned and properly seconded. Madam Clerk?
Yes.
Yes.
Chair Davis Johnson.
Yes.
Unanimous vote.
Madam Chair, I just have a quick question. If y'all gonna get 5,000, you don't need my 500. Then, do you? I didn't know 5,000 was coming down. Don't take back.
No take back.
So it'll be 5,000 and 500.
No, it will
Thank
be
you, Madam Chair.
No, it will be.
You gave money too.
Right.
Item
Proceed.
number 9B, presentation Riviera Beach Workforce Development Task Force. Madam Chair, we do have public comment cards on this item. The acceptance of public comment cards for this item is now closed.
Councilwoman Botel, you recognize?
Thank you. In the spirit of attempting to do things for young people in the community, Karen Hoskins, our city manager, suggested that I brief the council and members of the public who are here tonight and those watching at home on the expansion of the Riviera Beach Marine Industries Workforce Development Initiative into other employment sectors such as construction, hospitality, and other fields. Thank you, Walter. This new endeavor is called the Riviera Beach Workforce Development Task Force. It will bring together many existing and often duplicative workforce development efforts and stimulate new ones as needed. Oops. Sorry. As you know from my previous remarks at council meetings, we have experienced some impressive results from the organization of the Riviera Beach Marine Industries Workforce Development Initiative. We have educational institutions ranging from high schools to colleges to adult education programs, developing curriculum specifically to fit the needs of the marine industry. We have employers ranging from big yacht companies to small boat yards and retail supply stores, offering their facilities for hands-on experiences and seek for those young people seeking marine careers. The attendance at meetings and the enthusiasm has been outstanding. So I said, why not use this model for other industries in Riviera Beach? I'm happy to say that although still in its infancy, the Riviera Beach Workforce Development Task Force has already attracted interest from both educators and businesses across industry lines. Here you can see the participation. Whoops, going the wrong way, sorry. Not good when you go backwards. Here you can see the participation at our very first meeting. I know these are small and it's hard to read them, but this shows the number of people across the spectrum. Ezra Saffold representing construction. We haven't identified someone in retail yet, but Pierre Rodriguez in banking, John Hauser for automotive. Someone will be identified for healthcare. I'm meeting this week with the VA hospital. Roger Amadon for hotel and tourism. Captain Rich Brochu for marine, and we'll have somebody for manufacturing. And up above represents all of the people, the education partners with whom we'll be working. So these were the people who were at the first meeting, and we've had great success, and we'll be recruiting others from all the lines of business who are represented here. I think one of the most exciting things that we've done in the last couple of weeks is to negotiate with Florida International University to open up their exciting free construction certification program to 40 or 50 in a cohort, Riviera Beach residents, conducting the first 5 weeks of the program here in our city and then taking our students to Miami for another 5 weeks of hands-on training that will result in a certificate of expertise in occupations ranging from electrical to plumbing to air conditioning trades and many more. And we know that the construction trades are in high demand in Florida, as in much of the rest of the country, but especially in Florida. After just one meeting, this task force is forging ahead at record speeds. I just want to point out on this slide, I'm not sure you can see it, concrete, masonry, electrical systems, plumbing, HVAC, and carpentry, and they'll come away with a certificate from FIU. I'm really excited about that. After just one meeting, this task force is forging ahead at record speeds. The reactions from both community leaders and businesses have been gratifying, to say the least. It's a program that will coordinate existing efforts and innovate new ones, and I'm sure it will make you very proud. I do want to say something from Ezra Saffold, who's one of the leaders of the group. You know, Ezra cautioned me. He said, "You can't call it task force if you're going to try to get kids involved. That smacks of something that has to do with, where's the chief? Don't get upset with me, but like that sounds like a police are going to come after you." So Ezra gave us the name BOSS, which stands for Business Owners Sharing Success. So when we go out to entice young people to be involved, we're going to call it BOSS, because that's a lot cooler than task force. But I hope you agree that this is something exciting for 18 and up. The FIU program will accept young people from ages 18 and up. The only stipulation is that they have to be drug-free. It's okay if they have a record, but they do have to be 18 years and older and drug-free. So I'm going to be having a meeting in November, and I'll be happy to report back to you when that meeting is concluded. Any questions?
Madam Chair.
Mr. Mayor, you recognize?
Likewise, I want to commend Dr. Patel for birthing in the vision of the marine industry as well as other industries of the construction and the flyer. Dr. Patel, do you have many copies? I would like for everyone to have them. We can get some made now. Okay, because we have members of Hilltop Baptist Church and other people that should take this back to your congregations, and you be able to announce it.
Maybe Debbie could make some.
So we'll get someone to make, Debbie, make color copies, please. Thank you.
Thank you.
Madam
I
Chair.
will be looking for people to give us some young people, because this program, FIU's program currently is provided in the evening, and we will probably be using their labs in the daytime. So it will generally be people who are looking for work, people who are out of work now, and so I'll be looking for the community to give me the names, and we'll be contacting people. We won't be starting for probably a couple of months, because we have to identify a teacher up here in the Riviera Beach campus to teach the course, and we have to teach that teacher the curriculum that FIU mandates we use. So it'll be a couple of months yet, but we're beginning to get going on this, so I'm going to need help. Thank you.
Congratulations. This is a wonderful endeavor, and it is good news for the city of Riviera Beach and for our young folks. So we look forward to this program as it rolls out, and wherever we can help you, we stand ready to assist.
Great, a great job, Dr. Boutte.
Madam
Thank
Chair,
you.
we do have 2 public comment cards on this item.
Okay.
John Miller, J.B. Dixon.
John Miller, 1290 Manor Drive. 2 things that, listening tonight. First of all, the mentoring program, me being an old coach, there's nothing better than that. I've been around, I don't know how many young men that I was privileged to teach not only basketball, but teach them life skills, and to mentor and take them under your wing and show them that you care. Takes them a long way. I had the same thing happen to me. I grew up in a very dysfunctional, poor background. I came out of high school in 1967, a long time ago, and had nowhere to go. What happened with me was I was lucky, very lucky enough to get into a building trades apprenticeship. I didn't know anything. I didn't have a father around. He didn't show me anything. And it was hard. But I worked through it. I worked hard. And I started out at $2.12 an hour in 1968 as an apprentice. I learned a very viable trade. And my last salary, retiring 5 years ago, was well over $100,000 a year. And I became a construction project manager, which does not happen without a college degree. What I'm telling you is this. Training like this is essential. A high school diploma only gets you so far, and unless you're going on to college, and even if you do go on to college, we had guys come into our apprenticeship with 4-year college degrees. And not only when you get training and trades, but the feeling that you get when you do something. When you do something and you accomplish something, it's a great feeling. So I've been talking about this for a long time. I'm very happy, Dr. Patel, that you're taking this forward, and I think that it can really help a lot of people to get them on their feet, make them productive, make them happy and successful. Thank you.
Thank you. Madam Clerk.
J.B. Dixon.
J.B. Dixon, Singer Island, Riviera Beach. I just wanted to say that I've been at some of the meetings of both the Marine Initiative and the overall task force that goes into the other lines of business. And I've seen a lot of those kinds of activities that have been badly put together, and failed despite, you know, really good intentions. And I could just tell in the meetings that I've attended that this is going to be a tremendous success. For one thing, there was a real frank, very, very frank and open discussion between employers and educators in terms of what they expected from one another. And they both had to give, but they both had to give a little bit, and they both said that they would. It also brought up a lot of very duplicative efforts that are going on, a little program here, a little program there, and a lot of people are unaware of those programs. So it also, I think, will act as a really good communications device so that we end up not duplicating efforts and everyone can go forward doing the best things. For instance, across all of the industries, they all wanted that basic readiness to work. You know, the real basics. You got to get up on time. You've got to know how to get to work. You've got to be on time. You know, you've got to work out problems instead of fighting. You know, you got to pull up your pants. You got to do all of that stuff. And that is something that, again, instead of everybody reinventing the wheel trying to do that, a good program of that type that they all need can be put together. And then teachers who need to have time to teach do not have to be running around to every employer asking, you know, if they can bring their students, et cetera, et cetera. So that'll all be done by the task force. The educators, on the other hand, said, we need you to give us better steps so that we can motivate our students, that you enter at this level, you make this much money, then you need to take this course or do this until you can get to this level, at which time you will earn this much. And they show them the stepping stones up. Because I've always said, it's not enough that we get our young people a job, but we need to let them know that the one job, that maybe your father or your mother only had one job all their life, but that's not the world we live in now. And you know, you go in and that's just the first thing you do. And what do you do after that? And in terms of mentoring, a lot of people do not have that in their families, and this will provide that stepping stone. And the industry leaders know that it's up to them to provide that kind of finite information. So I'm very, very happy about this, and I think that it's going to be very, very productive for Riviera Beach.
Thank you.
Madam Chair.
Are there any more? Is that the end of the public comments, Ms.?
Yes.
Yes. Madam?
For this item.
For this item.
Task force.
For this item. Okay. Madam Manager.
Madam Chair, if I may request of you all to move item number 16 up before or right after we hear public comments. Is at the end of the agenda. And I know there are a lot of church members here regarding this item.
No opposition to that.
No opposition to that.
No opposition.
Okay.
Public comment.
Oh, you're going to do public comment?
Yeah, it's 7:30. We're going straight into public comment. We're going to do public comment
then
and
16?
then take 16.
Okay.
Public comment should be restricted to issues, matters, or topics pertinent to the city of Riviera Beach. Please be reminded that the City Council has adopted rules of decorum governing public conduct during official meetings, which has been posted at the entrance of the council chambers. In an effort to preserve order, if any of the rules are not adhered to, the chairperson may have any disruptive speaker or attendee removed from the podium, from the meeting, and/or the building if necessary. Please govern yourselves accordingly. Madam Clerk.
First is Ms. Bonnie Larson. Following will be Ms. J.B. Dixon.
Bonnie Larson, I have a lot of when questions tonight. We have the body cams in-house. We've had them for a little while. So I'm wondering, when are they going to be out on the streets? What is the holdup with the body cams? Okay, well, you can answer me at the end. It will be fine if somebody answers me. So the body cams, okay. Someone I talked to, they weren't out. I don't know when they came out, but I heard they weren't out yet when I spoke with somebody. So, okay, you'll answer that. Okay. Broadway, Ms. Duncombe usually talks about that. She's not here tonight, so I'll talk about it a little bit. Broadway really is a mess. There are all those potholes. We're all going to need alignments first pretty soon. There are so many holes there and bumps and dumps, and it really needs to be fixed. Also, the properties on Broadway, slum landlords. We've got all those trailer parks, former trailer parks. Trees are falling down. Trees are dead and still standing there. Weeds up to your knees. It is a mess. Broadway is a mess, and I never see on those properties the orange signs from codes. Now, a lot of people are complaining they get code violation signs. Why aren't those absentee owners getting orange signs and having to fix up their property? It really looks bad, especially those former trailer parks. I asked about this last week, or the last meeting, is if we could have a policeman sitting up here somewhere closer than they are in the back, because that one speaker, he was a speaker that was really scary a couple of weeks ago, and I thought if the police have to come, I mean, you're vulnerable, we're vulnerable right here, at least the policeman has a gun and could apprehend somebody who's kind of going a little nuts up here. So that would be good if they were, oh, there was a policeman behind me, if there were a policeman closer than in the back. Another place on Broadway, the former Betty Ann's, what another dump, another dump. Now there's a front of an 18-wheeler which parks there on a regular basis. There's also now an RV which parks kind of in the back. Somebody's probably living in there. This is what we see when we drive down Broadway, and it's not inducive for people to come and want to be in the city. It's not inducive for people who want to open businesses when they see all this mess. Insurance debacle, I asked about that last time. We're working on it. We know that. What is the situation with the insurance debacle that we had? A lot of people were asking about that last time. I asked about Public Works building. That was condemned over a year ago. When is that coming down? And when are we doing the attorney interviews? My time is up. But can we please do something with Broadway? It really, really is a mess. And I don't understand why they're not getting orange signs. And if we can fix Broadway so we don't have our cars in the shop all the time. Thank you.
Next, Ms. J.B. Dixon. You passing? All right. Bishop Thomas Masters. And after him will be Ms. Harriet Felder.
Madam Chair, to the members of Hilltop Baptist Church and to the other members of other churches and congregations, I do want to announce that we will be leaving from the fire station to help assist and coordinate the trip. We'll be leaving on Friday morning. That's 2 days from, what's the 20th? Would that be the 20th, I think? Friday? Whatever that is. Saturday, I'm sorry, we're leaving Saturday morning. And those of you who have Pampers, bottled water, clothing, canned food, dry food, whatever, we are en route to Florida, Quincy, and another little place called Mariana. And anybody knows about Mariana? So Mariana witnesses in the house. Okay, going to your town. So we'll be taking a truckload of supplies, 26-foot truckload. We'll be stopping also in Fort Pierce. The pastors there have been 100% cooperative as well, and they have a lot of stuff that the truck will be picking up. So we have a couple days left. Please get it to the Riviera Beach Fire Station adjacent to the police department here at City Hall as fast, pardon me, Fire Station number 87, right next to the police station here. I do want to thank these pastors that I know just by memory that have been involved in getting supplies. My good friend, Pastor Ronnie Felder, Pastor Wardell, Pastor Evans from the Pentecostal Church of God in Christ, Mount Olive, Pastor Wardell, Pastor Rufus Parson, Pastor Bill Washington, Reverend Larry Scott, and I know Pastor Griffin Davis is always involved in helping people as well. I do want to thank the mayors of that area for their participation in coordinating the delivery to those little towns. I want to thank one of my favorite mayors for his involvement as well, Mayor Tallahassee, Mayor Andrew Gillum. And call his name again, Mayor Andrew Gillum. And also along with the mayors of Quincy and Mariana, we will meet with those mayors on Saturday evening when the truck get there to help in the distribution. May God bless you. This is a humanitarian effort. This is not a master's effort or a Felder effort. It's people working together as one. We rise above politics, above parties, and realize there are people that are hurting, that have been devastated. We're going to get there as fast as we can. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Ms. Harriet Felder.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I stand on the behalf of the project of the 30th Street being changed to Reverend Griffin Davis Sr. The reason that I stand this afternoon in pain is because this is a man that I feel is worthy of the honor. I have been affiliated with this man for the last 52 years. He's my pastor. Do I stand in the behalf of him just because he's my pastor? No. I stand because of what he stands for. I stand because of what I've seen him do. He's the man that has sacrificed for the last 54 years or more. He was born on 30th Street. He has served the community of Riviera Beach. I've seen him sacrifice his life for Riviera Beach. I've seen him give to this community. Have he done everything that have pleased this community? No. But I ask the question, have you? We have not always pleased everyone, but I do know this. He have done the best that he could. Maybe you did not know him when he only had 2 pair of shoes, and you're looking at what he have today. But I've seen this man give up everything to serve this community. And that's why today I stand and say, he is a man of honor. He is a man that deserves this honor. And I ask you to find in your heart to give this man of God that has given many that needed homes, many that need food, this honor. Give him his flowers while he yet live. Let's not wait when he lay in his casket and give it to him. Let's give it to him this day that he may enjoy his flowers. And I'm sure God will be well pleased with each of us. May God ever bless you will always be our prayer.
That's the end of public comment cards.
We will now address item 16. Chair Pro Tem, you're recognized.
Thank you, Madam Chair. In accordance with the City of Riviera Beach Street renaming policy, I am proposing to change the right-of-way known as West 30th Street from Broadway to Avenue T to Reverend Griffith Davis Sr. Street. However, in support of this initiative, attached for your review is a letter of support and names petition in support of the renaming of this right-of-way. Under said policy, I am requesting that the Mayor and City Council approve the above mentioned request. Our policy states that we can rename streets in two ways. One, the council member can bring it, or the community can bring petition names. As I am bringing it just to support the initiative, the community wanted to contribute some names. However, we don't have to have said number of names, but it was just an act to show support thereof. Reverend Griffin Davis Sr. was born in Riviera Beach on West 30th Street. He lives on West 30th Street and is the founder and pastor of Hilltop Missionary Baptist Church, located in the great city of Riviera Beach. Reverend Davis is a true community servant. His church has always gone outside of its four walls. As written in an article in the Palm Beach Post, Reverend Davis states that it was a mistake to tell people to go to church and serve God. Going to church is for worshiping God. Serving God is helping other people. Right. Reverend Davis became involved in city politics to correct local inequities. Although a majority of the city population was black, there was no blacks in the city administration. City services were not fully extended to the west side of Riviera Beach until 1970 to 1971. Reverend Davis lives out the true meaning of his mission, fairness for all. Reverend Davis has demonstrated leadership and vision, which has made a positive impact here in our city. Therefore, it is understandable why the conscious community would make this request and join in this request to have the honor bestowed on Reverend Griffin Davis Sr., and we have public comments for this item.
You ready? Currently, we have 4 public comment cards. As of now, no more public comment cards will be accepted. First is Ms. Carolyn Runner Braden. Following her will be Ms. Margaret Shepard.
While she's coming, Lynn, I support your efforts 100%.
Thank you, Mayor.
Good evening to the mayor, to the commissioners. Good evening. I'm here to, I concur with Harriet and I concur with Lynn Hubbard. I went to Commissioner Hubbard about 6 months ago trying to see what was the criteria for him to have that street. I thought about my pastors. I've been there for over 60 years. I've been there over, but I thank God for knowing him way before, even when he was a drum major. Reverend Davis has a pleasing personality. He has served the community. Reverend, that's his pastor also.
Yes.
But I want to say first, before I start, to have Hilltop Baptist and some of the members of the community to please stand. Would you stand? Thank you so much. Thank you. We are here to just say that we are pleading to you, commissioners. It's in your hand. If you would humble yourself and just examine what he has done and where he is today. He's one of the best that I can say as for a pastor. He's a wonderful husband. He's a wonderful father. He has worked for this community for numerous of years. He has also worked and gave and has never had a paycheck from this community, never from Riviera Beach, not even his children. He has 3 sons and daughter-in-laws, but none of them was ever on the payroll. Reverend Davis have each year the turkey giveaway, serving the foods. He does what he can for people with the lights out, the water off. Anything that you go to Reverend Davis with, his heart is a heart. He has a heart of gold. And he preaches, but now he's not preaching as much. And we're asking that you please consider him as having the 30th Street named Reverend Griffin Davis Sr., and we have more that's going to speak, and I just want to say from the bottom of my heart, the truth is the light. He have earned this. He's worthy of it. He lives there. He could have moved to Ivers. He could have moved to Palm Beach, but he preferred Riviera Beach. He loves the city.
Yes, yes.
He loved the city councils, even though sometimes might not agree, but he loved the city of Riviera Beach and the city councils. He has always been participant with anything that you come to our church with. He always have an open door policy, and the church is open to the public. And his anniversary is coming, and I thank you, Commissioner Boutier, for calling me about you won't be in town, but you'll get a letter next year. But I want to say to you, we just thank you, the world of all of you here, yes. And we are pleading to you in a humble voice, yes. Asking you to give him what he has earned. Yes. He deserves it. He's earned it, and it will make him happy. Matter of fact, he don't even know we are here. He does not have he has direct TV. So his wife is aware, but she has not told him anything. We wanted to surprise him if we can get this done. And we're trying with all our hearts. This is just a few members that was able to come, and more hearts are here. So we're praying for it. We're asking you to humble yourselves and just do what you feel is right. And if you feel this is right, you will give it to him. Right. He's a legend of the city. Yes. He has been here for everybody. Funerals, anything you think that he can help, he's going to do it. Reverend Davis would help a fly. He's just, his heart is that big. Yes. And he loved people. He loved his son there. He came to our church at 3 years old. But I just want to thank you for this opportunity and ask you to please, I'm pleading to you. I'm not in a demanding voice, but a plead to give him what he's deserved of. Thank you so much.
My name is Margaret Shepherd, and I too am a member of Hilltop Missionary Baptist Church, and I've been with Reverend Davis for 10 years. For this is the best city to live, to work, and to play. I would deviate from listening to all the wonderful comments and talk about what's going on over in the 30th Street neighborhood. As you know, the Meditation Garden is blooming. And without you all, we will be nothing. And the vegetable garden, the Willie Boat vegetable garden is in bloom. I speak of these things because the one thing, it is the Lindsay Davis Center over there. And we are blooming, and we are moving forward, and we never could have done it without the Honorable Griffin Davis Sr. He's a man of word, a man of strength. I don't have to say all these things because I know you knew him way before I knew him. And so I don't think it's a begging syndrome, or I don't think it's something that we really have to really contemplate, because I think everybody know the very Reverend Griffin Davis. When he walk into the room, he light up. I've never seen an African-American man that dark with pink, yellow, blue, and he just so dignified. And so I would say this would help him to extend himself by saying, who am I? I'm just this little bitty servant. To have my name on a
street. Yeah.
Oh my God, I'm about to cry. Oh my God.
You can't cry because your hairstyle is so beautiful.
To have,
it looks so
he's
gorgeous.
so humble. And like Carolyn say, he doesn't know anything about this. But to have his members come out and support him, it will do his heart so good, because sometimes he feels so low. And I have to tell him sometime, Reverend Davis, when you are down, you make me down. But when you go up, Reverend Davis, you take me up. For you are the best pastor, other than you, man.
I'm his son.
I got to get this pass, so I got to throw you in.
I'm his son, so that's
but,
fine.
But you know, without laughing, we ask you, we plead with you, I don't mind begging, to say that this is the best city to live, work, and play. And we do have some of the best pastors. But this is the one that God gave us to come here and put his name, as well as Lindsay Davis, the Willie Bow Garden, to move this city forward. And with that, I thank you very much, and thank Hilltop for coming out.
Yes.
It shows him that we do love him, and so do you when you put his name on that street. Thank you, Mayor. I appreciate it.
With 100%.
Next is Ms. Pamela Gibbs.
Good evening, Council, Mayor, and officials of Riviera Beach. I stand here this evening to talk of a man that everyone in the city knows as Reverend Griffin Davis. I know no other man that deserves this esteemed privilege and honor to have a street named after him. He is a humanitarian, not only caring about the needs of those in his church, but also the needs of those in the community. He is known for saying that God does not just care about your spirit, he cares about the total man, where you lay your head and the food that you eat. As we know, Reverend Davis was born on 30th Street, raised on 30th Street, lives on 30th Street, built the church on 30th Street. And as you go down 30th Street, you will see the epiphany of the community that Reverend Griffin Davis serves. If you look down the street, you will see his life story. And through his life story, he has brought many esteemed people to our community, such as Mr. Burton Upjohn of Upjohn Pharmaceuticals, Sugar Ray Leonard, the Mighty Clouds of Joy, Congressman Alcee Hastings, Senator Bill Nelson, and Reverend Jasper Williams Jr., and many others. Many of you here, like myself, has been helped by Reverend Griffin Davis. He is the true meaning of what servanthood is. And I stand here this evening to ask that you please rename West 30th Street to Reverend Griffin Davis. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That concludes your public comments. However, our former city clerk, Ms. Carrie Ward, had a card in to speak in support of this effort as well.
Thank you. Is there a motion?
Okay. Madam Chair.
Chair Pro Tem, you recognize?
This is going to be a joint motion between I and the mayor. I'll do first part, Mayor. I move that we, the City Council of Riviera Beach, rename West 30th Street to Reverend Griffin Davis Sr.
Second.
And
second, I forgot.
say your part.
Oh, the second part is that we also, in the like manner, name the adjacent street below. I think that's 28th Street, to reflect the name of Bishop John D. Alexander. He is one of the three ministers that were all kind of in the same era, Reverend Davis, Reverend Henley, who we now have a R.J. Henley Street, and Reverend A.C. Evans, and we now have a 37th Street. But Pastor Alexander will get a street along with Reverend Davis as well, Bishop John D. Alexander. And I think we all have gone to the Pentecostal church right behind Hilltop. And they've been sister churches down through the years. So I think that would be wonderful likewise.
I second.
It's been motioned and properly seconded, Madam Clerk.
Councilperson Botel?
Yes.
Chair Pro Tem Herbert?
Yes.
Chairperson Davis Johnson?
Yes.
Unanimous vote.
Madam Chair,
Mr. Mayor, you recognize?
I would like to make a statement as it relates to Pastor Davis. I'm going to try to get through this without getting a little emotional, but first of all, I wouldn't be here today. I wouldn't even be in the city today if it had not been for Pastor Griffin Davis, who saw me as a wonder boy preacher. He was going to seminary in Nashville, Tennessee. I was 12 years of age, and he invited me here to the city to preach and do revivals in the basement of the church. It was the basement at that time. And I would come every few years and preach at Hilltop in the basement, and then he invited me back to the big church. And I actually prayed this prayer that one day that when I become a pastor, I was an evangelist at the time, that I wanted to pastor where Reverend Griffin Davis pastored. And the reason why I prayed that prayer, because of the respect and the honor that I have for this man, because I lived in his home when I was here doing revivals. And I had done revivals and preached all over the nation. He was the only pastor that I knew that would fast to 12 o'clock, I think, every day. He would shut in and shut down to 12 o'clock, pray and fast. I said, well, that's where I need to be. And I asked the Lord to send me to Riviera Beach. I didn't know I was going to become mayor when I prayed that prayer, but I wouldn't be a mayor today if it had not been for the prayers and the support that Pastor Griffin Davis gave me as a friend and as one of his sons in the ministry. and I'm thankful for him. My last comment, I was about 17 years of age, maybe. I preached at a very large church in Miami. My godmother, Dale Cummings, took me to the church, and they had advertised that the Wonder Boy preacher from Pasadena, California, would preach that morning. The church was packed, people, and I remember it so vividly. The people were all around the walls. I went in the pastor's study. I had put my robe on, had the Bible in my hand. I was ready to go in the pulpit and deliver the word. And the pastor said to me that he changed his mind. The Holy Spirit said for him to preach. He went out there and saw all these people, and he said that he was to preach. Well, what could I say? What could I do? So when my godmother came to the office, I was in tears, and I was crying, and she said, well, what happened? I said, well, godmother, he said that the Lord told him to preach, and I said, that's okay, you know. So when I got back to Riviera Beach, where my godmother lived and lived to this day, she called Reverend Davis, and she told Pastor Davis what had happened. And he told her, he said, tell Tommy to come here Tuesday. I want to see him. And when I came to the basement to see him, he said, you know, you're a young man, and I don't want to see you hurt like that. And he reached in his pocket, and he gave me $200. And I'm so glad he gave me the $200, and that was needed. But I will never forget what he did for me, and that's the story that I can tell the rest of my life. So when it comes to the generosity and the giving of Pastor Griffin Davis, can't no one tell me anything different. He gives more than any pastor that I know, and I'll say that because he has been such giving to me and to this entire community. And I stand with the members of Hilltop. I stand, and I want to compliment Councilwoman Lynn Hubbard for bringing this forth. I've always wanted, and I hope we bring some more names of people from the past and the present. It is time to get rid of these alphabets and numbers anyway. We're much bigger than A, B, C, D Street, F Avenue, G. Name some of these streets after legends who have gone on and legends who are living. In North Las Vegas, they did it. They took those names of the alphabet and they named them, and you're talking about black history, they named them after people like Muhammad Ali. They still left the alphabet, but underneath it was Muhammad Ali and Oprah Winfrey and the different ones. It's good for our young people, for their identity, to see role models, past and present, in our community. So I hope, Councilman Hubbard, that you bring some more and get rid of some of these numbers and alphabets and give them to names of people, because we're much bigger than that in the city of Riviera Beach.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I want to thank each and every one of you for coming out to tonight from Hilltop and from the community. I'm glad, and I want to thank my colleagues for voting in the affirmative so that we will be able to do this. Thank you to each one of you, and I appreciate your support on this effort. And I know that a lot of you have to leave for another meeting, so we'll take 30 seconds and let you guys exit. Thank you.
Item 10. Item 10. I believe that's where we are. We're at item 10. Let's proceed.
We've done this, so this is what we need to.
Never mind.
That's why I wanted to move 16. Okay, thank you.
Item number 10.
Item number 10, resolution number 115-18, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Riviera Beach, Palm Beach County, Florida, approving site plan application SP 18-08 for a contractor storage yard and accessory office use located at 501 Avenue S, also known as Sam Cooper Way, associated with parcel control numbers 5643423250010000 and 5643423200010020, having an industrial future land use designation and general industrial zoning designation, and providing for an effective date. This item is presented by Interim Development Services Director Jeff Gagnon, and we have 2 public comment cards.
Madam Manager?
Madam Chair, as the clerk stated, Jeff Gagnon will present this item.
Thank you, Madam Manager. Jeff Gagnon, Acting Director of Development Services. Good evening, Mayor and Council. You have before you a site plan application, which is staff number SP-18-08. This is for a development proposal located just west of Sam Cooper Way. Before you on the PowerPoint is an aerial view. It's located just south of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard. It has a future land use of industrial and a general industrial zoning designation for this parcel. As we zoom in closer to the site, I want to show the 2 parent tracks that were read into the record. What this proposal does is actually create a new master track to the north side here. So if I go back and show the 2 parent tracks, this northern portion of the large CMEX track, which is currently in operation, this will be separated and sold to the current applicant, which is Titan Builders. So the master track will appear in this configuration if it pleases council and we move forward with approval of the site plan. So for the record, you have before you a site plan. The area that is shown in gray, which is approximately 2 acres or so, that's the existing site with existing conditions. The location to the west is the new site to be developed, the new site plan. Again, this will form one parent tract, and one of the conditions of approval is that in the near future a plat will be brought before the City Council as well, which will legally create this property configuration. For the record, this is a landscape plan as well. This meets the code requirements for landscape buffers. And within the site plan, there is a modular office that's proposed, which is approximately 2,000 square feet. This is just an elevation of that office. The Planning and Zoning Board reviewed this item on October 11th of this year and unanimously recommended approval to City Council. Staff also recommends approval of the site plan application with the following conditions of approval. The first 6 are boilerplate conditions, and the last 2, I believe, pertain to the plat. But for the record, condition number 1, we would require a 2-year landscaping performance bond for 110% of the value of landscaping and irrigation. Condition 2, construction and landscaping improvements must be initiated within 18 months of the effective date of this resolution. Condition 3, City Council authorizes city staff to approve future amendments to the site plan administratively, so long as the site plan does not deviate greater than 5% from the originally approved site plan. Condition 4, this development must receive a final certificate of occupancy from the city for all buildings and units approved within 5 years of the approval of the adopting resolution. Condition 5, all future advertising must state that the development is located within the city of Riviera Beach. Condition 6, once approved, this resolution shall supersede any previous site plan approval resolutions associated with this property. And conditions 7 and 8 are tied to the plat. So 7 is a plat shall be approved by the city and recorded within the official records of Palm Beach County prior to the issuance of a certificate of occupancy or certificate of completion. And condition 8, the aforementioned plat must clearly indicate the following information prior to recordation. Number 1, the northeastern property line abutting Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard shall not extend to nor encroach into the ultimate right-of-way. 2, the railroad spur track easement overlapping the proposed access easement at the ingress-egress point of the property must be released or abandoned. 3, all dry detention and retention areas as identified on site plan, staff number SP 1808, must be delineated. The applicant is present as well. They have a brief presentation, and I'm here to answer any questions you may have.
Excuse me, Madam Chair, before you proceed, can I get a motion in a second?
So moved.
Thank you.
Second.
It's been motioned and properly second.
Thank you.
Good evening. For the record, George Gentile, President of Gentile Glass Holloway O'Mahony and Associates. We're here tonight representing Titan Builders, who is in the process of acquiring this portion of the Cemex property. I'm going to, as Jeff went over, the Cemex property, the piece that is a part of this to the east side of the landscape area, which you, I guess I'll better use this. Oops. I just shut this off. Okay. Where's the arrow? Okay. 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 The area that you see landscaped is where the storage yard will be, but they are also acquiring the existing steel manufacturing facility that's already there at Cemex. They'll be maintaining the jobs that are on that site, doing the same type of operations with the steel manufacturing, but they will be taking that steel manufacturing and putting it on the storage area and managing everything within inside the landscape buffered area. So the piece that's on the bottom that that Jeff explained on the site plan will be the new access to this site, as well as to the actual existing metal manufacturing facility. It will come off of Avenue S or Sam Cooper Way. The retention area is in the far southwest corner. It's developed in phases, and I'm going to just go through the slides. Our request, of course, is for site plan approval for a storage yard with accessory temporary modular office. And there's, of course, as Jeff indicated, there is an application with this to plat the property. We are in agreement with all the conditions of approval that the staff has put on and that the Planning Commission reviewed and adopted unanimously. Again, I'm going to go through very quickly. This is in a very in an industrial area. The Cemex facility has been operating for a number of years. The retention area that is just to the east of the affected area and the existing manufacturing area is a retention area that was put in for the Martin Luther King Boulevard right-of-way. That is not a part of this property. And it is a depressed dry retention area that takes in the stormwater from Martin Luther King Boulevard. And then we have a commercial strip center that abuts the affected site on Martin Luther King Boulevard. These are just the uses around it, most of it industrial, and then the multifamily project to the east on the other side of Sam Cooper Way. But most of this is, you have the Cisco property also to the west. We are meeting all of your codes. This is the site data. The modular space office is about 2,100 square feet. We're providing a few more parking spaces for employment base there. There's not many guests that come to this space because it's really manufacturing this construction rebar for construction projects throughout the entire area of Riviera Beach as well as the entire Palm Beach County area. They're one of the few manufacturings of that type of work. I'm going to go through this and just, you know, we hope that you support this. The Planning Commission did, your staff did. I think we've done a great job. The area is not landscaped now. You'll be having a landscape buffer with 100% native vegetation to make sure that it survives, and it will also be irrigated. And so I'm here to answer any questions that you might have.
Are there any questions from council?
Madam Chair.
Chair Pro Tem, you recognize.
I want to be clear about the activity was there. In our agenda review, I understood that there was going to be basically storage for a construction company building material, if you will. So what you're saying is going to take place now is manufacturing, the manufacturing of rebar.
The manufacturing is already being done by Cemex on the site that's just it's existing already. Chair Pro Tem, the area that you see landscape there will be the storage area for the materials for that manufacturing, and then the process materials waiting to be picked up and delivered. Okay, so that use is already being done on that site, the manufacturing of the metal.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
And so you're saying that Titan will continue to manufacture rebar on that
Yes, ma'am.
site? Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
As presented, as I said earlier, it was that Titan was going to be just storing construction and manufacturing material. Nothing about CMAX manufacturing rebar or Titan manufacturing
Right.
rebar, and they were buying into that, and that would continue. So I just wanted to be clear about it because that wasn't what was previously presented. Okay. So I don't have a problem with the project. And one question I would ask, with this, I know you heard you mention that you were going to be retaining the jobs that CMAX had there. Does this call for any expansion where you'll be hiring any more persons or local? Or it's just a takeover?
They will have more jobs that will be on the storage facility because that's not happening in that location right now. Okay. So they will need more employment persons in that location. So yes, they're maintaining current jobs, and they'll be providing jobs additionally on this site that are not there today.
Would they be bringing persons from somewhere else, or there's opportunity for you to hire new
There's
locally?
opportunities for anybody to be hired there. Yes, ma'am.
Locally.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Sure.
Any further questions?
Madam
Do we have
Chair?
any public comment
Yes.
cards?
You ready?
Yes, please.
First, we're going to have Ms. Madeline Irving, following Ms. Erica Davis and Mr. Tommy Walker. That's the end of public comments for this item.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Board. I heard the presentation. I'm just a little bit confused. I live in that area. My concern is environmental, what's going on. I don't know a lot of the building lingo. So I see the word industrial, and I know that we just went through the fight with the bleaching company. That's my concern. How is this going to impact the area environmentally, far as the storage? I would like to be more informed about it before you all make a decision, because there are residents, there are elderly people there. We don't want to turn this into a Pandora's box where we allow one person to come in and then it continues. I know before we talked about that area being rezoned because it's shared with residents. So that's my concern. I want to be given clarity as to how this is going to affect the neighborhood. Is it environmentally safe for the residents that live there? And perhaps when future plans come like this, I'm a working class citizen, so I'm not always aware of things. So it would be nice for us to be informed so we can come and support the growth in our areas. Because, of course, generated funds builds our city. So I'm in support of that. So that's what I would like clarity for. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next is Ms. Erica Davis. After that would be Mr. Tommy Walker.
Erica Davis, Riviera Beach. I just first want to say thank you, Dr. Botel, for being so innovative and always on the move, working with all of the business people in this city to make things happen and move in this city. And I would like to say great job, Pro-Chair Hubbard, for working with Mr. White on the program. And if you two get together with those kids, you can have a wonderful marriage. And we can get some of the crime and the shootings and the killings off the street. Third of all, I was just concerned myself about the residents in Stony Brook, since we're redeveloping Stony Brook, and the health of the Stony Brook residents because of what they've just gone through. And that was my question. What kind of hazardous material, if they are hazardous, that's going to be placed and storage over there? And I think going forward as well, we need to look into it, being that years ago, our city was sold out to industrialism. I don't mind industrialism, but you have to be careful where you place industrialism. I believe that industrialism belongs with industrialism and not close to residents. I have a warehouse right across the track where I live, and when their chemicals, when they're spraying or painting or whatever they're doing, it's up in the air. I can smell it. And me, myself, personally have respiratory problems. So therefore, we have to look at that when we're talking about bringing in industrialism businesses, which is fine. It brings revenue. But they need to belong together, like some feet, yards, or whatever, away from residential. So that's my concern. Thank you.
Mr. Tommy Walker.
Tommy Walker, 1582 West 9th Street. This is right across the street from my house. And I see that retention pond, and I know you're talking about all the area right behind the strip mall, which is the only place that it could be. But what I was concerned about, they say a storage yard. I didn't get what was going to be stored there. And you know, like the two people that came up before, Stony Brook is right next to this. With all the fighting we've been doing and going through, I need to know, I would rather you table this, because this is the first time we ever heard about it. I don't know how it comes up that we always wait and we never know about this. How could we get ahead of that so that we can do some research and find out things before it comes to you guys and get approved? Now, I know they got those steel things. They got the lifters, and all of that is still there from Rink or Cemex. But what is actually going to be stored at this site? That is my main concern. We keep putting ourselves in a bind because we're bringing in industrial things, but Stony Brook is still there. And they're already surrounded by 2 cement factories. I just want to make sure what's being stored across the street from my house next to Stony Brook. Thank you.
Thank you.
That's it for public comments.
Thank you. Mr. Gentile.
Yes, ma'am.
What is,
Please
explain.
Let me explain, okay? First of all, I want to let you know that Titan is not located in the city of Riviera Beach. They are moving their business operation here to Riviera Beach, which will, again, is bringing jobs. They strictly do, all they do is they work with construction rebar, steel. There's no chemicals, there's no environmental issues. They bring the steel in, they bend it according to manufacture or construction requirements with bends and cutting lengths, and they will now, instead of it being stored on that site that's there closer to Stony Brook, they'll be putting it logically in the storage area farther to the west. And that is the construction materials that will be on that site. There's nothing else. There's no chemicals. There's no other thing going on there. They will be putting it in there and then providing it to the contractors who are building anywhere in the north end of the county and the south end of the county. But a lot of stuff that's going on here that you have in Singer Island, Riviera Beach, Lake Park, you have a lot of things coming on board all out through the north end of the county, we know. And this is strictly rebar steel. It's nothing else. So, the storage of it in a logical pattern there will be much better, and it will be stored farther away from Stony Brook.
Madam Chair,
Councilwoman,
could you show
Bertha,
us on that map where it's stored now?
Yes, right now the materials and manufacturing that they're doing is stored. I don't know if this, yeah, there it goes. You can just see the area.
Okay.
It is stored around this existing facility.
So what you're simply doing is moving the storage from there to the now
Taking it into
landscaped.
here behind the landscape,
Okay.
screening it off with everything.
Nothing different is going to be done but storing. The same thing
that's
that
it.
was over there is just
That's
moving
correct.
to a different location.
That's correct.
Okay.
Yes, it'll actually be better for the residents anywhere, as well as the people who are in that area using the roads. Yes, ma'am. So, okay.
does that satisfy the concerns? Thank you. No, 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 no. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other comments or questions, Madam Clerk?
Councilperson Botel?
Yes.
Chair Pro Tem Hubbard?
Yes.
Chairperson Davis Johnson?
Yes.
Unanimous vote.
Thank you very much. And also, I just want to let you know, very nice that you all did West 30th Street. That's where I grew up, is on West 30th Street here in Riviera Beach. And my father built a house there, and I was there until I moved away to college. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Item number 11, resolution number 116-18, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Riviera Beach, Palm Beach County, Florida, approving the activities and budget for the 2019 Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. celebration and providing an effective date.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second. It's been moved and properly second. Mr.
There's currently no public comment cards for this item. The acceptance of public comment cards have not been closed.
Have now been closed. Mr. Blankenship.
Good evening, Council. Richard Blankenship, Parks and Recreation Director. Trying to get our PowerPoint up. This is our annual time that we come to you to go over with you the planning efforts of the Martin Luther King Planning Committee for 2019. The committee is made up of many employees and also many citizen volunteers. Bear with us just a second. A little caveat about this presentation. Jackie Burgess, where do we go from here? Jackie Burgess, who sits on our committee, sent me a draft PowerPoint one day, and we talked about it, and I said, but I want you to present it. And she kind of smiled and said, sure. This morning I found out she's not even here today. Well, it looks like we're having some system issues, so I'll go try to go through it by memory. The critical points are that the senior luncheon is going to be January 17th. The gala is going to be January 18th, and the parade is going to be January 19th. So it's going to be 3 events in a row. And then beginning January 22nd, this is something new that the committee is doing this year. We're doing a film series that Ms. Cobb and the library are going to chair for us. Because in the past we haven't really done much educationally about Dr. King. So there will be a film series, and we will conclude all activities on January 31st, I believe. There are some other points. The keynote speaker for the gala is Yvette Miley, who is local Riviera Beach Suncoast graduate. and she also is the president of NBC News and MSNBC. So she will be here doing the keynote. Other than adopting the resolution, there's some other consensus items that we would like for the council to have. One about the dates and the plan, but the important one, and it may seem trivial, but it is really important to the safety of the parade, is that this year the committee will provide the drivers for the elected officials and the dignitaries to drive in the parade, just so we make sure that, because last year we had people going everywhere after they passed a certain point, we just really need to buckle down with that and make sure that we have a safe ingress and egress for the parade. The parade route will be the same this year. It'll begin at Congress and end at Avenue L. The viewing area will be at the UPS lot like it was last year. We will have our, not only with the viewing area there, but there will be, the vendors will be there, the family fun zone will be there. So staff is feverishly working to put this together, along with everything else that goes on around Riviera Beach. So again, I apologize for the technical difficulties. I'm kind of happy though, because that was a very elaborate presentation that Ms. Burgess had put together. And with that, I'll answer any questions that you may have.
Are there any questions from council? No. Thank you, Mr. Blankenship. Do we have any public comment cards, Madam Clerk?
No, Madam Chair.
Madam Clerk?
Councilperson Botel?
Yes.
Pro Tem Hubbard?
Yes.
Chair Davis Johnson?
Yes.
Unanimous vote.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Blankenship.
We're now to item number 12, resolution number 11718, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Riviera Beach, Palm Beach County, Florida, authorizing the police department to execute an addendum master tax exempt lease agreement with U.S. Bank Corp to lease purchase one aerial ladder pumper fire truck and 20 police vehicles, authorizing the mayor and city clerk to execute the agreement and the director of finance and administrative services to set up a budget for the same, and authorizing annual payments totaling $1,930,068.13 and provide an effective date.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and properly second.
Madam Chair, there are no public comment cards on this item. The acceptance of public comment cards for this item is now closed.
Thank you. Madam Manager.
Madam Chair, we have Interim Police Chief Michael Madden and Assistant Chief Curd here to present to you this item and answer any questions you may have.
Thank you. Interim Chief.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Our presentation also is not going to be able to be shown, but I'll go ahead and run through it if you'd like, or go ahead straight to questions.
Tell us about it.
Just give us a brief overview.
Okay. This is a joint item with police and fire because they're tied together in a municipal lease. We did that in order to achieve better interest rates on the lease. So the proposed acquisitions include a fire apparatus, a 2019 aerial platform that the deputy chief can give you more details about. The vehicles for police are 20 pursuit-rated police vehicles. They are the 2019 Chevrolet Tahoe, which is the police vehicle selected by a committee that was established. The total cost of this project over 5 years is $1.9 million. That's $928,463 for the fire apparatus. The police vehicles cost $41,267. That's fully equipped, ready for the road with all the emergency equipment. The total cost of those 20 vehicles is $825,340. The proposed financing is with U.S. Bank Corp at a 3.361% interest rate. The police vehicles are paid for over 3 years, and the fire apparatus is paid for over 5 years. No payments on either of these are due in the fiscal year 2019. The first payments are due in fiscal year 2020. The police vehicle. We have 20 police vehicles that meet a replacement criteria, which is determined by the combination of the vehicle's age, mileage, mechanical history, and its overall condition. We anticipate receiving these vehicles in July of 2019. There's that much lead time required in order to get them built.
That's it.
I'll turn it over to Deputy Chief if he has any more to add.
Good evening, Council, City Manager. As mentioned, we had a beautiful PowerPoint prepared outlining the apparatus that we're looking for. But ultimately, the aerial platform that FIRE's proposing is going to be replacing and upgrading a current apparatus that is over 15 years old. And this is an apparatus unlike anything we've ever seen here in Riviera Beach, which we think will give us a tremendous tactical advantage, not only on fire scenes, but also on victim rescue, just overall operations as a whole. This particular piece of equipment was used on the tire fire. Those of you all can remember back when we had the tire fire, this was an apparatus that was actually brought in from Palm Beach County Rescue, Palm Beach County Fire Rescue through mutual aid. And here in Riviera Beach, we feel that this is what fire service needs to keep our citizens safe.
Are there any questions or comments from the council? Madam Clerk.
Councilperson Botel?
Yes.
Pro Tem Hubbard?
Yes.
Chair Davis Johnson?
Yes.
Unanimous vote. Item number 13, resolution number 11818, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Riviera Beach, Palm Beach County, Florida, recognizing Florida City Government Week, October 22nd to the 28th, 2018, and encouraging all citizens to support the celebration and corresponding activities and provide an effective date.
So moved.
Second?
It's been moved and properly second.
Madam Chair, there are no public comment cards on this item. The acceptance of public comment cards for this item is now closed.
Madam Chair.
Madam Manager.
Madam Chair, this item was brought forward by Councilwoman Kashamba Miller Anderson, and this is where the city will be celebrating Florida City Government Week 2018, which takes place October 22nd through 28th. This is an annual event sponsored by the Florida League of Cities, and they have requested that all cities participate. It is a celebration that involves our city joining other cities in Florida to showcase and engage citizens in the work of municipal government. Florida City Government Week is a time for municipalities to provide and foster civic education, celebration, volunteerism, and more. For City Government Week, we are planning the following activities. On Tuesday, October 23rd, we will have an ice cream social for volunteers from 5 to 7 here at City Hall. And then on Thursday, October 25th, we are having a read for the record where city staff will be visiting various elementary schools and daycare centers throughout Riviera Beach to read a book entitled Maybe Something Beautiful, How Art Transformed a Neighborhood. And we are also in the process of scheduling an open house and other activities. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. No further comments, Madam Clerk.
Councilperson Botel?
Yes.
Pro Tem Hubbard?
Yes.
Chair Davis Johnson?
Yes.
Unanimous vote. Item number 14, resolution number 11918, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Riviera Beach, Palm Beach County, Florida, approving $567,500 local match in the form of a grant to the Riviera Beach Housing Authority to be used as a tax credit incentive for a 79-unit affordable rental housing community, Heron Estates Family, located at 2003 West 17th Court, parcel control number 5643-4231-01-000-0010 to comply with the low-income rental housing tax credit incentive requirement under the Florida House Finance Corporation, authorizing the city manager to execute
the Florida Housing Finance Corporation local government verification of contribution agreement and provide an effective date. Madam Chair, we do not have any public comment cards on this item. Yes, we do. One public comment card. And the acceptance of public comment cards for this item is now closed.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
It's been motioned and properly seconded. Good evening, Mr. Hurd.
Madam Chair, as the clerk read into the record, this is a request by the Housing Authority for assistance with their Phase 2 of Heron Estates, and Mr. Hurt will make a presentation.
Good evening, Madam Chair and council members. We did have a nice presentation like the previous presenters. However, we are having technical difficulties. I did provide you with a copy of the presentation. We had wanted the opportunity to update you on our Phase 1 of Heron Estates, which was the Heron Estates Senior Building. It's currently under construction, and we're about 20% of construction. You have in your packet an update of the Heron Estates Senior Building with some pictures, and also in our presentation we have some overhead pictures of the current construction site. I have with me the members of our board and our development team and our construction team. We're here to answer any questions you may have regarding the redevelopment of the former Ivy Green Village site, now known as Heron Estates. We come before you this evening asking for your approval for this local government area of opportunity grant. This grant will enable us to position ourselves in our application to the Florida Housing Finance Corporation for 9% tax credits for our Phase 2, which is a family development of 79 units of 1, 2, and 3 bedroom apartments. We are making this application in hopes of transitioning out of Phase 1, the elderly, and having funding available to go right into Phase 2 for the completion of the site. We have been before this council for the past 2 years asking for this funding. We have submitted applications for 2 years, but to date, in the previous 2 applications, we were not successful in gaining funding. We are more encouraged this year with your approval of this matching fund of $567,500. It would position our application above other applications. There are 2 levels of matching funds from local government. This is the higher level, and we would hope that we will be one of the few municipalities in Palm Beach County that has this matching fund for the local area of opportunity, and that will give us a greater possibility for funding, as opposed to competing with 12 to 15 applications. With your approval, this funding, we hopefully will be the only application with this funding, but last year we were 1 of 3. This year we feel that we may even be in a better position. So we come before you to ask your support, your continued support in approving this local area of opportunity funding for the application. And this application is due to the Florida Housing Finance Corporation in the first part of November. So we're putting the application now, and this is one of the most important steps. So we're here to answer any questions that you may have.
I want to take the one public comment card because I do have a question for the finance director.
Margaret Shepard.
My name is Margaret Shepard, and I do live in prime property owned and operated by the federal government, which is called HUD / the Heron Estates. I'm indeed glad to be before you once again to ask you to please govern yourselves that the Housing Authority, the Heron Estates, is now in the move. It is a wonderful site, a site that's been going on now for at least 10 years. I hope that I live to see this day, and once again, this day is here. I'm grateful to you, Dr. Botel. You have put 100% of yourself into making sure that you understand that this particular project cannot go without all of you. But being the new lead person, you have led to let yourself know that there's an understanding here, that without this money, this project would dry up very quick. It's gonna put the lifeline in it. It's gonna put the blood in it. It's gonna give the opportunity for the seniors to come back to their home. It's only 6 of us left, and I think they should have the opportunity to say yes, no, maybe. So with Mr. Hurt, which is a fantastic landlord, the chair, Mr. Thomas, the vice chair, one of the most illustrious men I have ever met, Mr. Finney, Mr. Lewis, and to all that sit on that board. It is one of the best boards that I have seen in a long time. But they cannot move this project. And we all know nothing moves without money. And so I'm very eternally grateful. I wasn't going to stay. I'm up under the weather. But yet and still, this is my home. This is where I have to live. If I choose to go over there, the one thing I would know that you helped me get there. And I'm going to be eternally grateful that I had the opportunity to stand here and say, I hope that you pass this resolution. And with that, I thank you.
Thank you.
Madam
Mr.
Chair,
Sherman?
that completes public comment card.
Mr. Sherman, you have bless you. You have comments in this document that says that there are currently no funds set aside for this project. Should the Housing Authority receive the award for low-income tax credits, the city would then need to amend the capital plan. Funding this project would remove reduced funding for other city capital needs. I don't recall seeing this language in previous iterations when they've come before us. Is this something?
No, and the reason I put that in there is because I was asked if we had funding by another council member. So I just wanted to make it clear in the resolution. We have been asked in the past. We don't appropriate the funds because it's contingent on obviously them, the Housing Authority getting the award. But the award, I believe, typically comes in the summer. Is that correct? So that's right during our budget process. So we would have to deliberate over that and make those funds available as part of next year's CIP. So again, we're not putting, we haven't put it in the past. When the award comes, we'd have to put it in. And that's all I was trying to say there.
It was just unusual, and I had not seen it, so I wanted to understand.
And again, I
why
had
it was-
been asked a couple weeks ago about whether we had funding or not, so I added that in there.
Okay, so did you not send a correspondence to the council to indicate that that question had been asked?
I
to
did
that?
not
You did
send
not?
anything else to the council.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Okay.
Are there any
Madam
comments
Chair,
from the,
may I just bring some clarity? This approval would just give us that option. The funding will not need to be available until the occupancy of the project. So number one, it's contingent upon us getting approval for the funding. And number two, it's contingent upon the completion and occupancy. So there's probably a 2 to 2.5 year timeline before the funding is needed. When we first asked, talked with the city manager, they projected it in the next budget year. So it's not anything that would be needed in this budget year nor the next year's budget.
I just needed to get clarification. I had not seen that language before, so I wanted to understand the motivation behind it being placed. Are there any further comments?
Yes, Madam Chair.
Councilwoman Botel, you recognize.
Thank you. I wanted to thank Mr. Hurt for taking the time to meet with me the other day and to clarify the questions that I had. I also was concerned about where the money was going to come from. He explained to me very very nicely and thoroughly that it wasn't going to come right away. So it's something that's going to come down the road. We'll have plenty of time to plan for it, and it's not going to come due until people are living in those units. So I'm appreciative of the time that you took, and I'm thoroughly and completely supportive of this resolution.
Chair Pro Tem, you recognize.
Gentlemen, a couple of questions. The units in phase 2, are they going to be for the residents of Riviera Beach, or will people from all of the county be allowed to apply to live there?
For the family project, we are developing a management plan now, and one of the things that we are positioning is in the management plan to have priority for the city of Riviera Beach residents. We are doing that for the seniors, and we plan to do that for the family as well.
And how, for phase 1, did you set up the, how is the management plan set up for the seniors that dictates whether it's going to be for Riviera Beach residents?
The best way to respond to that is that we have 3 tiers of income stratus. There will be public housing, there will be project-based vouchers, and there will be tax credit units known as market rate units. For our public housing, we will have preference for Riviera Beach residents. We're submitting a waiver to HUD so that project-based vouchers would also have preference for Riviera Beach residents, and for the tax credit units, we are working with the Housing Trust Group to also have a preference for Riviera Beach residents.
Okay. Mr. Hurt, the last question that I have is I know HTG does they have a property management company, if you will. So how will the persons that live here in Riviera Beach that do property management get an opportunity to participate in the Heron Estates phase 1 or 2?
We have met with the Housing Trust Group Management Division. We will hold a job fair for the positions for Heron Estates, probably right after we near construction and occupancy. They have agreed to hold that job fair here in Riviera Beach so that we can recruit local candidates for the positions available.
Okay, and so the subs that you had on phase 1, are those subs still a part of your team for phase 2?
If golf and the team here are the general contractors for phase 2, yes.
So the subs are tied to golf?
The subs are tied to the general contractor. That's correct. And we have representatives from golf here. And
so are you saying that you're going out for another GC? You're saying if?
I say it if because our plans are to transition from phase 1 to phase 2 and use existing, but there are no guarantees at this point.
Absolutely, I know there's no guarantees, but I'm asking, was that your intent? The same team that went from phase 1 to be the team for phase 2?
We had hoped that to carry over the success of phase 1 to phase 2, and if golf and the type of response that they have to local contractors and to our Section 3 program has been the type of response that we would like, we see no reason that we should not go forward with them in phase 2. To date, we've been very successful in our Section 3 program with them. We have local contractors involved and local participation. You'll see in your reports that to date, of the $12 million of construction, to date they've expended over $300,000 on Section 3 contractors.
Thank you, Mr. Hurt.
Are there any further questions or comments from the council, Madam Clerk?
Councilperson Botel?
Yes.
Pro Tem Hubbard?
Yes.
Chair Davis Johnson?
Yes.
Unanimous vote.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, council. Thank you for your continued support.
Item number 15.
Item number 15, discussion and deliberation on Phase 2 of Keep Riviera Beach Clean, Keep Riviera Beach Beautiful campaign. Madam Chair, we do not have any public comment cards on this item. The acceptance of public comment cards for this item is now closed.
Thank you. Chair Pro Tem, you recognize.
Madam Chair, quickly, I just wanted to discuss the second phase. The second phase is to educate the community about what we're trying to do. And basically, as a reminder, we're trying to get trash off the street, keep Riviera Beach clean, and to make it more aesthetically pleasing. One of the things that we want to do is we want to put a flyer into the mailing of the residents, letting them know just some of the basics, that we want them to put trash out, bulk trash in front of their houses. We want the garbage cans to come in within 24 hours of being collected. We want them to tie up the garbage, inside garbage, before putting it out, so that it won't fly all over the community. So we want to insert an educational piece into the water bills. We also want to talk to our business owners, the multifamily unit owners, here in the city of Riviera Beach. It's incumbent upon them to be responsible for those properties. We as a city cannot manage multifamily housing developments. That's their job. They have to get someone there to manage those properties, to make sure that trash is up and that the places are clean. And I think that we need to have a conversation with them, bring them in to let them know what we expect, because I don't want to feel that they're just coming here to make money off of Riviera Beach and don't care how it looks, don't do anything to maintain that property. The other thing that we want to do, we want to send a letter out to all of the corner stores, asking them to meet the basic requirements that we already have within our code, and that we expect and will inspect to see that these things are being followed. If we just have them adhere to the rules and regulations that we have in place, we will be ahead of the game. And so I wanted to bring that out, get a consensus or a feel from the rest of the dais about educating the public by way of letter in the water bill, as well as educating the corner stores about their presentation. So I'd like to get some feedback from my colleagues here so that we can get that mailing out and start educating our public. Thank you.
Thank you. Any comments?
You know, I just
Councilman
today,
Botel, you
thank you.
recognize?
I just today had a conversation with Trinette Morris. Is that her name? Trendy Gourmet, you know her as, about this issue of the corner stores not having healthy foods. I applaud this idea that we've been listening to Mr. Brown stand in front of us for a long time now and complain about these corner stores, and I applaud every effort we can make to try to get them to provide a healthier product to our residents. So I thank you for that. Okay.
Clerk.
Madam Chair, this was a...
I know we're on to the...
Well, we just wanted to, I wanted to see if we could get a consensus for the staff to be, able to go ahead and send this out to the public.
Absolutely.
I say yes.
Okay.
Absolutely. Madam City Manager, we are providing staff direction to submit the water bills. The language will be provided for the information that is to be contained in the water bills.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman Hubbard, for this initiative. Discussion by City Manager? I believe that is where
Yes,
we are.
yes, ma'am. The first item is to request a special city council meeting on October 31st to approve the a loan documentation for the CRA, which will start at 6 o'clock. If the city council would approve that and allow the clerk to advertise for that meeting.
Do you need it in the form of a motion?
Yes, Madam
Is there a
Chair.
motion, please?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been motioned and properly second.
Councilperson Botel,
Yes.
Pro Tem Hubbard,
Yes, the 31st. Yeah. We've been polled by the CRA's office, and I believe we have a consensus of it. Do you have a conflict?
Yes,
She's saying yes, but you need to say yes.
yes, 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 yes.
Chairperson Davis Johnson,
Yes.
unanimous vote.
Madam Chair, also on that agenda will be a contract that you would, there will be two items. The approval of the loan for the CRA and a contract. What's it again? The Dune walkover contract that we have to get approved before and start before turtle season. So that was recently bidded, and we would like to award the contract and start the work immediately.
Madam Chair?
Chair Pro
For the
Tem?
manager. What is it about both the dates on both of those items that make us have no other day but the 31st to do it?
I know the CRA coordinated with you all, and at this point, I don't have an answer. I believe Councilwoman Botel will be out of town on the 30th. And I'm not sure about after that date.
Well, something, again, when they asked the city, on the city side, to also hold theirs, what did they give you for that particular reason that we needed to do it? And the reason that it concerns me is because they were going to bring us back information about that building, the condition of the building, the environmental, because it was supposed to be plagued with so much mold, to see if it was feasible to even go after borrowing the money. So now we seem how we've jumped over a whole hurdle. We heard nothing about the condition of the building, and now we're talking about going ahead, signing papers to borrow money for a building that we didn't get any follow-up or feedback on. So,
Councilwoman Botel, you recognize?
I thought the primary purpose of the meeting on the 31st was to award the contracts for the Phase 2 of the marina.
is that,
No, that's, there's two items. One is the loan, and then I believe there may be a second item. He may have pushed to award the contract for the marina. That one may be pushed back further.
Oh.
But I know the loan documentation is the main item.
Oh, okay. So it's not going to be the Phase 2 of the marina?
so it's,
CRA special meeting. Let's get clarification, please.
yeah, I
Yes,
think
I will.
this is something quite convoluted here about.
We'll get clarification, and we reconvene for our next meeting. The calendar really quickly. The next meeting is I think the next meeting is the 24th, is it? We have no meeting scheduled for the 24th.
We do?
We do not.
I don't think so.
It says we need to schedule a meeting on Tuesday, October 30th, or Wednesday, the 31st. The meeting will be both for the City Council and CRA Board to approve financing for future CRA projects and to consider the proposal rankings for the Marina Phase 2 project.
So it doesn't appear that it's the loan for the building. It says projects. So the question becomes what projects?
It's the building. To that end, before, when we say consider the rankings for the project, to bring Phase 2 all the way back for us to rank it and vote on it, I know how both of those items were worded, and I see how they're read, but I believe that both things we're being asked. We're being asked, one, to finance, to borrow money for that building, and the second thing that we're being asked is to go ahead and choose one of the two persons to be the development. I think that we should have had a workshop where the presentation from both of those applicants was presented to us so that we could go over the things that they're proposing, not to be asked to say, hey, we're going to present this item for Phase 2, a $300 million project, and then, okay, now y'all vote on it. I think that's just a little cart before the horse and not even all the apples in the cart.
Madam Manager, I'm going to ask that you go back to Mr. Evans and get specific clarification as it relates to ranking, because that's not a job of the council. We don't rank. It would be having to hear from staff as it relates to the selection committee and the overall ranking that came out of the selection committee. If it is the pleasure of this board to have a presentation from those that are ranked, presentations are typically done in selection committee. So I would ask that you, and I would request that the council support me in having you go back and clarifying with Mr. Evans the express intent of the special meeting before we agree, although we have agreed to it.
Okay, and I know that the evaluation committee met today regarding the proposals, but I will go back and ask Mr. Evans the purpose of the meeting as it relates to the Marina Phase 2.
How much time is needed before you announce that special meeting? Is it it's 48 hours?
The 48, Mr. City Clerk.
Madam Chair, as you all are aware, the statute says within reasonable time. Case law is available that said 24 hours is enough. However, here in the city of Riviera Beach, we do try to respect our residents' innocence and try to give at least a 48-hour notice.
Okay, so we have technically, as this body, we have agreed to the 31st. We can put that on the books. We can get the clarification, and I would request that a response be provided to the council by close of business tomorrow as it relates to the clarification of the meeting type. Is that, yes. Can we agree upon that?
Yes.
Thank you. So that's what we will expect.
Okay.
Thank you. Does that conclude?
No, ma'am.
Okay.
During the last city council meeting, there were several city council members stating that the first meeting in November, that they would be attending the National League of Cities Conference.
Mm-hmm.
So you had not made a decision if you wanted to move that meeting earlier or if you just want to cancel it altogether and have one meeting that month. As you know, the November 21st meeting, which is the day before Thanksgiving, you agreed to move that meeting to the November 19th date. So what is your pleasure? Just to cancel the first meeting November 7th and have one meeting for that month?
I thought we discussed moving it to the 19th.
I'm talking about.
There's a USD meeting.
Right, we're having the 19th
19th.
meeting, the 21st meeting on the 19th. So we're having that meeting, but do you want to have, is it your desire to have 2 meetings that month or just have that 1 meeting?
We agreed to have the 1 meeting for the month. That was the conversation that I recall. Does anyone else recall that?
I think you're right.
Okay.
Okay, so the 1 meeting
Which will be
on November 19th, immediately following the utility district meeting. We'll have a regular city council meeting on November 19th.
Thank you.
And then as it relates to the city attorney search, we were trying to meet certain dates, and I still have not received names from the entire city council, so still waiting on those names so we can move forward. I have Councilwoman Hubbard, I have not received your names.
I saw that email and I was surprised by it when I was, but I will just forward it to you.
Okay.
I didn't realize that.
Okay, thank you. And then, what did you say about city manager? As it relates to city manager search, still waiting on
I will send my names to you.
Okay.
What, excuse me, what, I didn't hear what you said about the city.
I received 2 sets of names from 2 city council persons. The chair has not submitted her names.
Okay, Madam Chair.
Mr. Mayor, you're recognized.
What does that mean as far as the process? Does that mean that you're waiting on other council people to submit names or what?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
That's all I have, Madam Chair.
Discussion by city attorney. Stepped out. There is none.
There's no
Are there
attorney
any
here.
city council committee reports? Statements by mayor and council, starting with the mayor.
Thank you. City Attorney, I have a question for you. He's not here?
He stepped out, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, can someone see if the city attorney is here? And let me proceed. If you have a ballot for the November 6th election, vote by mail. And if you have not mailed it and you are waiting for a volunteer freely to pick up the ballot, please call 561-247-2713. And there is a team of volunteers who freely and voluntarily will come and pick up your ballot and take it into the Supervisor of Elections office. Please make sure your ballots are signed, sealed, and dated. Please try to fill out everything on your ballot, including the amendments. That's very important. Again, I want to give that number, 561-247-2713. Please, we need to make sure that there's thousands of ballots who have not come in yet. So if you have one, please get it in. Tomorrow night, Thursday, Mr. Horton, that's the 18th. You help me keep these dates right. Tomorrow night, the Motown Magic Band will be our guests. They are fabulous. They're backed by popular demand. We will start promptly at 6 p.m. We ask that you would come and participate. This month is the month proclaimed as Breast Cancer Awareness. I tried to have something on pink, but it didn't work because it didn't match, so I made a little ribbon thanks to my illustrious chief of staff. So if you see this little funny little thing here, it's pink, it's pink, and it's in honor of Breast Cancer Month. We also must recognize that it is also the month for domestic violence. So those are 2 very important proclamations in our community. Thanksgiving. You know, Chair Tanya Davis Johnson mentioned this some time ago, and I've still been in my mind, and I never got it out. But if it is possible that all of the council can come together and pool their resources together to have one big Thanksgiving turkey giveaway instead of this one, that one, or the other. We're all doing it for the city. So I'm willing to participate. And Chair Johnson, if you still want to do that for Thanksgiving with the turkeys as a whole, as a council, count me in. Okay. So we can all be on that one page. If we don't never be on another page, we can be on that one page for turkeys.
Actually, Mr. Mayor, I would like to suggest that we have a citywide dinner as opposed to distributing turkeys, so that we could commune, get together as a community, and enjoy a meal together. We could put tables along the lawn of the event center at the Bicentennial Park and just have one large community dinner. I think that would be a wonderful thing for us to have.
I can support that too, but I do know there are people who still need a turkey. So I still want to do that as well. I mean, for me. Of course, Mr. Mayor. For me and my house.
Of course.
The Charter Committee, and I'm done with this, probably going to be looking at a couple items that I hope that the voters will continuously reject. I don't know if it's going to come forward, and I don't know whether City Council is going to approve it. But if they do, please note that I will aggressively champion that measure fails. And I'm talking about the suspension. It is something in the charter. It was put in there for a reason. It's check and balance. When the manager doesn't act or suspend, the mayor can. If the mayor does it illegitimately or prematurely, then the council can overrule the mayor. So it's a check and balance. You rejected it again, before twice. So reject it again. I do have, it's a clear example. I have on my desk the suspension of an employee in the HR as it relates to the insurance scandal. I've been waiting patiently for something to happen. It hasn't happened. So it's on my desk, and we'll wait up to 10 more days, and if not, then the mayor will act as promised. The other thing that I hope that you start getting in your spirit now is term limits that has been offered twice, as far as I think, and it has failed, terribly failed. And please continue to vote against it. It will affect everyone up here just about. It means that I would not be able to run for mayor again after, I would not be able to be your mayor after March, the election. Dr. Patel can only run 2 more times. And you know, if it's not broken, there's nothing to fix. And if you have good people in office, and whoever it is, if it's Councilwoman Hubbard and Councilman Terrence Davis, Chair Davis, Dr. Patel, or the mayor, then let the people decide to kick them out. But do not stop the people from having the right to continue their vote. And I think the best model to follow is the national government, senators and representatives. So please reject it again, and we'll all be on one page again. Horrible motions. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Botel, you're recognized.
Thank you. I hope this doesn't take too long, but it's important that I get this done. Let's see if my technology works. Okay, so I've been meeting with a woman who runs something called Paws and Paddocks. You may be familiar with her, Jill Colgan. Jill. We had a meeting the other day that involved Karen Hoskins, Mr. Horton, Mr. Blankenship, Chief Madden, Chief Curd, Jeff Gagnon, and Lina Busby. So we involved a number of people, number of city staff, and we talked about having beach polo. Now, I am not a polo fan. I've never been to a polo match in my life. However, I've done some reading about this, and apparently we would be the only community north of Miami to engage in this sport. It's very, very highfalutin, as I understand it, and it would bring quite a ritzy crowd to Riviera Beach. And I think that this is something we should at least explore. But I didn't want to go forward, and at Karen's recommendation, I trust that Karen has given me a good recommendation here that we should get the support of the rest of council before I engage any other staff members in exploring this possibility. A little bit about what beach polo is, and this is what it would kind of look like on our beach. There would be, obviously, polo ponies on the beach. We have to take a look at our ordinances, which do not now permit us to have horses, goats, cows, whatever, any kind of livestock out on the beach. We have to take a look at our ordinances and change them for just this one event. There would be people paying money to have advertising around the periphery and so forth. It would involve, here's a map of the beach. It's it takes up just a portion of the beach, and the rest of it would be open to the public for the rest of the day. It's a one-day event. It would benefit the community in that it would bring jobs to Riviera Beach, socializing, increasing the value of nearby properties, and so forth. It will provide funding for paws and paddocks, and I think, for me, that's the important thing. It will be a very interesting and nice event for the city, but it will also provide funding for this important organization that teaches a lot of our kids about riding, horseback riding, how to take care of animals. She does a really nice job with kids in this community. I see a number of you nodding your heads. You know the work that this woman does, and I would like to see if we can support her. So before we do anything else along the lines of investigating what this is going to cost, not going to cost us, investigating what this is going to take in terms of staff time for taking a look at it, I wanted to get consensus from the council that this was something to pursue.
I think it's a wonderful idea. I would just ask, how does it affect turtle nesting?
Good question. It's just before turtle season. We will be doing it in February before the beginning of turtle season, and Jill is very aware that she's an animal lover, as I am, and doesn't want to do anything to damage the turtles, so absolutely we would do it before the beginning of turtle season.
The nesting areas and the dunes will not be damaged.
Not be damaged at all.
We will reach out to the Department of Environmental Resource Management.
In fact, she has done this before in Palm Beach Shores, and she has to go to DEP to get permission to use the beach in this way.
Okay.
Yes.
I'll be interested to learn more.
Good, then we'll pursue it. Thank you.
Thank you.
The only other thing I have to say is that I'm having my Singer Island Town Hall meeting tomorrow at 6 in the Ambassador Center. We'll be having a representative from the library there, from Parks and Rec, and we'll be looking at the Singer Island Garden and take a look at what that's going to be like. So I hope you're all there, Singer Island.
And then you'll come to the concert.
Chair Pro Tem?
Yes, I would just like to announce to the community that on November 3rd, the first Saturday in November, the Cunningham Park grand reopening will take place. We'll have our ribbon cutting ceremony at that time. There will be fun-filled activities that day, and we want all the children and adults of the community to come out and enjoy the new equipment in the park. We're going to have some of the schools perform there, and it'll be a wonderful day. We'll be serving food. We'll have face painting and clowns and balloon twisting and things of that nature. So we want the entire community to come out and enjoy the reopening of Cunningham Park.
Great.
Thank you.
You might even have a polo.
Thank you. It is with great pleasure that I announce to our community that former Senator Attorney Chris Smith has graciously agreed to present a review of the constitutional amendments that will appear on the November 6th ballot. Attorney Smith, as you all know or should know, served as a member of the 2017-2018 Constitutional Revision Commission and is indeed a subject matter expert. He will walk us through each amendment as proposed for the ballot. You are all cordially invited to join us on Tuesday, October 23rd at 6 p.m. here in the City Council chambers. We ask that you bring a neighbor and bring your questions so that you can come out and be an informed voter. Again, we will have a review of the constitutional amendments that will appear on the November 6th ballot here in chambers Tuesday, October 23rd at 6 p.m. And we will also record it so that it will be played back so that voters can hear the information as it relates to the amendments and cast a vote in an educated manner. There being no further business, we stand adjourned.
Just in time to wake up.